welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A good Tuesday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout live here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola, and Reid Wilkins with you here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in, iHeartRadio, maybe, as well as those watching on YouTube and the podcast down the future. I know we're having some issues today with TuneIn and iHeart and our website streams. I think they're starting to come back. So yeah. I know Dusty was talking on the morning show about Nathan that he was talking with that kind of ghosted him.
Yeah, he ghosted him.
But I think
nice.
While he ghosted him, he fixed things.
All right, Nate.
I think.
Let's go.
I think.
I hope.
So earlier this morning, things weren't working for me. When I got to the station, everything was working for me in the end. So fingers crossed, everything is working.
This is like not as bad or severe as when the transmitter would go kaput at the old place, right?
Well, that could be bad.
Yeah.
We had some backup generators that could kick in and help fix that. Here, we're at the whim of Nathan. And I don't know who Nathan is.
Yeah. Wow. That's not good. I did listen. I always listen on iHeart. Well, it's very easy. I tell Siri to play Edmonton Sports Talk. That's how simple it is. And it kind of crapped out on iHeart. Then I flipped over to TuneIn on my drive in, and it was working very nicely. But so they're ironing out the kinks. But YouTube's working great too.
YouTube's always working. YouTube's always working.
All right.
That's how things go.
All right.
Reid? Sorry, I just wanted to test that the audio stream is working. If you're on iHeart, usually you restart it, but it takes a good 30 seconds to kick in.
We're back.
Put your phone in a bag of rice.
Don't do that.
Doesn't that fix it?
Yeah. Is that what you've been doing?
Yeah,
that's why you walk around the rink with a bag of rice.
Yeah, that's why I carry a bag of rice with me everywhere.
Not odd at all.
My electronics fail.
I just assumed that was his lunch.
Just some uncooked rice.
Yeah.
Reid, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great, Matthew. I have no idea why I'm here, but thank you for asking me.
Well, because you guys are all coming in once a month.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thanks you're great. This, you got your 3-hour show, and this is a way to see another different side of you.
All right.
I guess.
Well, thank you very much. It's
and I
nice
get to work
to be
with
here.
You. I want to work with you.
Well, I want to work with you too. Yeah.
Think of Matthew.
I bug
here.
you around the office all day. I shoot baskets outside your office.
You're struggling.
I ask you for mice.
Yes.
Or one mouse, for a computer.
How did that work yesterday?
Yeah, great. I just kept it and I'm keeping it.
Okay. So that mouse.
I'm one of those guys around the office. Hey, can I borrow? Now, I should say I don't do that to. I will do that when it comes to equipment. So at previous stations, if the engineers gave me something to test out and it worked, then I just wouldn't remind them that it was just a test. I would just keep using it till they asked for it back, and they would usually forget. Here. But if I lent you lent me something, then I would immediately give it back upon completion of my usage of it. But electronic stuff or computer programs, if you get put on your computer, we just want to try it out. If it works, then I'm like, I'm just going to not mention that it worked, but keep it.
Yeah.
That mouse was left over from the previous tenants of this place.
Oh, then I really don't feel bad about it.
We had, they left, I found, 3 computers, like full little computers that I was like, when we were starting up, I was like, this saves money.
You had a great day.
Yeah. Redo them. We used 2 of them. I'm going to be using building a 3rd one as a little workstation in the office.
Oh, good.
I got a monitor. I'll get that. So we have a little workstation for people.
What was in here again?
It was a cosmetic medical school.
Is their sign still up?
Yes.
Are we getting a sign?
Supposed to.
Oh, okay.
We have a sign up front the door, right?
Outside.
Oh, yeah.
Outside.
Yeah.
Oh, but outside the building.
Outside the building.
I didn't realize they would leave computers behind.
They left. They didn't. There was no monitors, but it was like those little Lenovo ThinkPads. And there was like 3 of them, and they all had password protections on them. So I just wiped them and got through that.
Well, you can wipe it even if it has a password?
There's ways to reboot it and restart it. Yes, there's ways.
Oh, wow.
There's always ways. There's always ways.
It was like a kid in a candy store that day when Maddie found those.
Well, it saved us. Like one of them is like our audio podcast server.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
It's like 400 gigabytes. I was like, perfect. I'll use that. And then so there was a bunch of keyboards and mices. Actually, there were some monitors.
We had monitors. There's 3 monitors.
We used like the monitor in here is actually from
Yeah.
that. So the mouse was from, you could think, whatever that cosmetic school was.
Well, I can't believe they just left stuff.
They left
Yeah,
a lot
I think
of
they went
stuff.
out of business.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that even be more reason to take the computers with you?
Maybe they owed on them.
Or maybe they just never came back.
Yeah.
I found them. I used them.
Property.
They're now ours.
Yeah, he took his label maker, property of Edmonton Sports Talk.
Well, actually, that was their label maker.
Wow.
They left
That's
this
incredible.
they left this really nice label printer that I used a little bit for the Nasty Club last year when I was labeling the packages to send out, and then it ran out of the printer stuff, and I got to go buy it. It's expensive to replace the actual paper part of it, but I was like, these are really nice. There's 2 of them. They left quite a bit. I had a great time in there. Tom's not wrong.
No, he was like, oh my God, look what I found. We're like, wow. And he'd be like, hey, I found this. Oh my God,
That's
Matthew.
quite a find.
There was quite a few.
Yeah.
And it helped as a little startup. It was like, oh, that saves us some money. Perfect.
Yeah.
It was great. So congratulations. You use a mouse that's just been sitting next to my computer for over a year.
The one thing is the cord's a little long. I might have to tie it up.
Oh, I was hoping you weren't going to be like cut it off and try to fix it or
No,
something. You were
I
asking me to
understand.
do that. I was like, I don't know how to do that.
I understand
dude.
that wouldn't work, Matthew. Thank you, though.
Reid, Brad, who is in Denmark right now watching, says your dry sense of humor is second to none.
Well, thank you very much.
And we have to put it on the map unless it's already there.
He's in Denmark, eh?
Denmark.
Is he originally from Edmonton / Northern Alberta?
I would assume as much.
That's cool.
Is he in Denmark living there or just visiting?
Good question, but it looks like
We're asking him Tommy questions.
What is Denmark known for?
Danishes.
Fair.
yeah.
They've had some good curling teams over the years, have they not?
Yeah.
And they've been in Patrick Russell? No.
Thorson.
Yeah. Patrick Thorson, Patrick Russell. Yeah. Do they not have a lot of windmills, like the old traditional windmills?
Isn't that the Netherlands that's
Yeah, I was
known
going to
for
say that was the
Oh,
Netherlands.
sorry.
Why is Pat Calenza calling me right now?
He
Pat.
wants
On
his
the air.
practicum student back.
No, we just hired him.
What is Norway known for? Actually, I have a
Chocolate.
kid coming in on Thursday to talk about a practice.
Remember when
perfect.
Patrick Russell scored in an NHL game
And
then
it was disallowed. I do remember that.
I believe he scored in the exhibition game before the bubble playoff started.
Yes.
I think he scored in that game, but he never scored in an actual
Felt
NHL
bad for
game.
him.
So Norway is a country of breathtaking glaciers, fjords,
Ah,
Yeah,
fjords.
they're nice.
and avid winter sports enthusiasts.
Well, there's probably several
Which includes
cross-country
skiing.
skiers from
And
that
alpine
area.
skiing.
Yeah.
Are they not good at alpine
They're known, they're the skiing nation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Once you get
Norway
to the-
as well. All those. I remember when I used to interview Becky Scott a couple times a year when she'd be back in Vermilion, and I was working in Lloyd. Like she said,
I was looking up Norway.
the cross-country skiing events in that. I remember she specifically mentioned Norway at some point, but I think
Yeah, I was reading Norway there. I was wrong. I don't know why I typed in Norway.
Oh,
Typed
okay.
in Norway
Yeah.
instead of
Is it
Denmark?
Yeah, okay, now I
Wow.
looked. What is Denmark most well known
Danes.
for?
Well, Hamlet.
Cookies.
Denmark is renowned for its happiness, stunning islands. I'm going to skip this one. Danish pastries, a bicycle culture, oldest amusement parks.
That was a sex thing, wasn't it?
No, I'm going to go back to it.
Okay.
Lego bricks.
Oh, neat.
Oh, that's cool.
They're known for Lego bricks.
Lego is very popular. You don't play with Lego, you build Lego.
There's a little Lego store, almost like knockoff, being built by us.
Really?
By that Red Robin or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Rockin' Robins or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a brick hut or something, it says. And it looks like it's like, I think, a place that you go buy little Lego
cool.
bricks or something.
Rock
Okay.
and Robin, really quickly, Rock and Robin, great breakfast spot, by the way.
I've heard that.
Oh,
Yeah,
neat.
yeah, sorry.
So, sorry, which one did you skip over?
That Lego bricks. I
the
came back
Lego
to
one.
Lego bricks because I want to get to that end. Because I
what-
just find that very fascinating that all of a sudden, like, this country's known for Lego bricks.
Was Hamlet not set in Denmark?
VR
I should know
Montenegro
that
has
as somebody
immediately
who
he has
studied
put in
drama.
Hamlet.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess yes
Yeah, okay.
without looking. I'm just going to trust VR because VR won't steer me wrong.
No, he loves Hamlet. He's a big Shakespeare guy.
I got in trouble with Shakespeare, my take on Shakespeare at the old place by listeners.
For what? What did
in
you
trouble.
do?
I said I don't believe Shakespeare should be taught in schools anymore, and like half the people ripped me
Why?
because they think it should be taught in schools.
Is it still
Oh.
taught in schools?
Yes.
I haven't been in school for quite a while.
I think
Same.
the where I went with it was, and then I actually found some teachers that have said this, and there's been a little bit of studies. No one needs to read in ye olde English anymore. If you want to teach the themes of these stories, that's one thing. There's a lot of great themes of it. That's great. I don't think anyone needs to learn.
All right.
But I'll let maybe you're on the other side of that.
Well, my question was, and Tom and I were talking about perhaps discussing literature since it's also Reading Week. Can we ask, and the audience can participate too? Okay, I was in high school from when? 88 to 91, so a while ago. Then you were about 10 years after that.
01 to 03 or 2000 to 2003.
And you were more recent
to 08.
Okay, so what books do you remember reading in high school, or I guess even junior high? I remember The Grapes of Wrath.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
We did To Kill a Mockingbird.
Read that one.
Lord of the Flies. I don't remember what grade everything was.
Great Gatsby.
Oh, so I didn't do Gatsby in school. I read it on my own at some point.
I think junior high, The Outsiders we had to read.
Yes.
That was really good.
Oh, we didn't do that one.
That was
That was junior high. You're right
Yeah.
for me on that one. Because I remember then, like, that one was read the book, watch the movie.
Yes. Yeah, that was really good.
Tom Cruise.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill, like, okay, so what do you remember, quote unquote, learning then? Like, was it valuable
To Kill a
to just
Mockingbird?
read something to get themes out of it?
Well, okay, you're talking to the wrong person because I hate English. And this won't surprise you, but like I don't like being told what I'm supposed to understand from a book.
Right, but you can also, there are themes perhaps you could just interpret on your own or other things.
Yeah, but then you're told you're wrong sometimes. That's where I just didn't.
Well,
like
if you
things.
said To Kill a Mockingbird was about the space race, then I would say that you would
but
be
there'd
wrong.
be like, what does the
isn't?
author mean in this? And it's like, well, I don't know. I'm not the damn author. Why does there have to be a meaning? Why can't it be what they're saying? Like I couldn't. I'm not an English fan. Like,
Okay.
I get it.
The class. So
I get it.
I'm the wrong guy for it.
But when you read a book or watch a film I mean, look, some things are basically just for entertainment, but there might be some things that are for some sort of thematic presentation or a comment on society. Do you just reject all that and say...
I get it from film or movies or TV shows.
Right.
I don't get it from books. I'm reading Dune. I've never actually read Dune.
That's good.
I don't know. I'm not paying attention to a theme from the movie, from the show Dune.
Yeah, well, I think Dune is just about ambition and power struggles. I think that is the theme, and that it's violent and destroys things.
See, and I'm not even thinking about that. I would thinking about the story.
It's been a long time since I read Dune, but that's kind of the premise of Dune, right? That there's these competing families for the planet or whatever.
I'm actually, as you say that, I think for the most part, I actually do reject. Like, it's not I reject them. I don't sit there and contemplate themes in, what do we call them this? Literature and movies and films. Like White Lotus, seasons 1 and 2. I recognize the themes of those two seasons. There are different themes of those two.
All right.
But those are that's like the outlier for me. I don't really watch a lot and then go, well, that was a great theme from this, or like, oh, I see what the director or whatever was trying to get towards.
Oh,
I just like shutting off the brain and watching.
Yeah, I guess to me it depends. I'll do that. I'll do that as well. But sometimes, a couple months ago, I watched American Fiction. It was up for Best Picture. Jeffrey Wright is in it. This is the one. He's a professor, and he's also a frustrated author. Like, he gets stuff published, but no one buys it. So then he, out of sort of anger and vengeance almost, he writes what he considers as a stereotypical black book, right? Like, he sort of says, okay, fine, I'll just write how white people think blacks talk and act. Ooh. And I'll write that, and then it gets published and it's wildly successful, but he published under a pseudonym, so of course he's not actually getting any accolades himself, and then he's also angry that the book is... So it was kind of an interesting look at race in the United States, and also what's popular and how audiences receive things. So to me, it was an entertaining movie, and then you can also talk about those other things, and it was very well acted. I mean, he's a great actor. You know what I'm talking about.
I think so.
Jeffrey Wright, he was Felix Leiter in the latest Bond movies with Daniel Craig. He was in Westworld, at least the first season anyway. You'll see him. Yeah.
Yes, I know Jeffrey Wright.
He's excellent.
So he's also going to be in the second season of Last of Us.
Oh, cool. Okay. So that's
Can't wait for
something.
that
That's the
one.
movie I could say, hey, it was entertaining. It certainly was funny. Had some good dramatic moments, and then you can also think about it a little more about him as a character, or some of the other things it's saying about, like I said, race, or how a work of art becomes popular, things like that. I'm probably really disappointed.
Okay, but
in
like,
Denmark.
you talk about perception and themes and stuff. Look where we're at now. TikTok is all the rage because we have the attention span of minnows.
That's true.
I have a love-hate relationship with TikTok.
Same.
I hate it. I want it to go away.
Yeah.
I actually somewhat support the bans so that it does go away because it's very addicting.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of bad to it, but there's also a lot of good that could come from it. Like, you could learn a lot through TikTok. Like, you could learn some nice house cleaning tips.
Sure.
Or recipes for cooking, or learn about something completely different. Or, like, to me, I go actually more to TikTok than YouTube now sometimes for needing to fix something.
DIY stuff?
Yeah, because the video will be a little bit quicker. I know it's going to be a little quicker if I could find the right video. And if I have to, I could go to YouTube if I need a more extended one or something like that. That's where I like the TikTok and stuff, but it is extremely addicting.
Yeah.
And it's designed to be that way. It's designed to keep people on the app for 5 hours a day or whatever. And I also hate the fact that people then just feel like they could just do their dance wherever in public. And they get upset with you if you walk in front of them, and it's like, well, I'm walking like,
I'm an
screw
influencer,
you. Like,
Matthew.
So there's parts of TikTok it's the same. Well, I guess it's with any social media app. I just want to keep, but I want everything else to go away.
So how long are the videos on TikTok? I do not use TikTok.
They've expanded, so now they could go upwards of 10 minutes long.
Really?
Yes.
So what was the site that all the videos were 6 seconds?
Vines.
Vine
was ahead of its time.
And it's gone now.
Yes. TikTok was basically Vine for the longest time.
Yeah.
Until they expanded their videos. Vine was well ahead of its time. And actually, there are some TikToks out there that if you catch in that algorithm, they'll put like 6 Vines together in the one TikTok video, and you watch old Vines and you're like, these were funny.
Do you remember there was a magician who would do these Vines, and he would do these weird illusions, and they would take 6 or 8 seconds. There was one where he was standing on the road and a car sped past him, and then all of a sudden he's in the car waving out the window. And it appeared that there wasn't editing. Anyway, all right, so TikTok is that the #1 app in the world now?
Oh, I think
I'm not
Facebook
using
still
it?
is.
Okay.
Facebook,
Really?
I think, is one. YouTube
I
is
use
two.
Facebook a lot. I use Facebook.
I hate Facebook. Don't add me on Facebook.
Yeah, don't add me on
respond.
Facebook either. A couple of years ago, for some reason, I realized there was this notification on Facebook, and I had about 3 messages, and the oldest one was a year ago.
Yeah.
And it was like some listener saying, like, hey, where can I find this segment? So I wrote back, hey, sorry, I clearly don't check this very much.
I hate Facebook.
I use it to check for birthdays. And there are a couple groups that I'm in related to, like my hobbies and interests, walking on the beach. But there are a couple things all
White sand?
I'm in where we're all actually might read a post or
I look at
something
ours,
interesting.
like
But,
our
yeah.
EST one.
But in terms of actually using Facebook for any other sort of interaction or
No.
finding out what's going on in the world, no.
No.
I stopped using Facebook. I stopped using Instagram except DMs.
I love Instagram.
I don't use Snapchat. TikTok, I've never posted a video. I'll never post a video.
I think you should
just
post
have
one
looked.
today.
I think you should.
Not a
yeah.
chance. I use Twitter, and I love Reddit. Reddit is my favorite.
Reddit's interesting.
I don't really look
yeah, I
at
don't
Reddit.
really-
Facebook's #1, YouTube's #2, WhatsApp's 3, Instagram's 4, TikTok's 5. Reddit's all the way down at 18. Reddit is one of those where there's... If you know how to use Reddit, you know how to navigate the site, it is very useful for knowledge, I feel, or learning, like finding people that of a commonality, and you're into a certain movie. You can go find that. There'll be a subreddit for that, or even just a thread for it, and you could talk about the movie with all sorts of people. You can read what other people's comments are. So if you want to get into, the themes of this, you could have a discussion with people through.
But how long until it just becomes somebody getting angry?
Not always.
Okay.
No, and that's where you have to find the right subreddits and stuff. And then politically, some subreddits lean one way or the other. Like in Canada, there's 2 major ones, I would say. Canada is the major one. That is very conservative, though, where the most commenters there are more right-wing. And then there's On Guard for Thee, I think it is, which is more left-wing. There's so you find where it is, but like when like a news story gets posted, I find what's great too is that like there'll be some sort of, I don't know, something happening with the bridge collapsed in Baltimore when it got run into. There'll be some engineer in there who will like have some sort of like info on something that you're like, oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
And they, then it's like after that you'll have like 5 engineers either be like, no, this guy's not an engineer, he's wrong, and then they'll all agree with that, or they'll all be like, yeah, no, he's right. And so there's just a lot of like, if you read the comments, you filter through the comments properly, you could actually learn quite a bit. I love Reddit.
Fair enough.
It's not social. Is it considered social media? I don't know Reddit. My brother will send me stuff every now and then. I'm like, no thanks.
I guess sometimes I might look at a post, but I don't actively go on Reddit or anything like that.
It's also, that's one where also for crowdsourcing, like if you're looking for do-it-yourself or issues, sometimes just type whatever your issue is, and at the very end on Google, just add Reddit. Oh. And there'll be like 15 Reddit pages of somebody possibly asking that question. And then there'll be a lot of people that were answering it, and you just go read through those and see what people say.
I was looking at something for my car a couple weeks ago, and it took me to a Reddit thread, and I was like, oh, okay, try this. All right.
Always add Reddit at the end if you have if you're just Googling that question. You want to be the old person who's like, how do I fix this? Just add Reddit to the end of it.
Okay.
So Reddit feeds will come up, and somebody had that question. There's a really good chance someone had that question. And you'll see if anyone was able to answer that.
Oh, okay.
I have a question for you. It's from Joelle.
Hello.
780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers inbox. Ask Reid what was the movie he watched this weekend, and do you like pina coladas?
Did I watch a movie this past weekend?
I don't know.
No, I didn't. The most recent movie I watched was... I watched something recent, like probably within the last month. I don't honestly, I don't even know if I've ever had a pina colada. I'm sorry.
They're very good. I like them in the summer or somewhere warm.
I'm really disappointing Joelle here.
That's okay.
What was the last
Put
movie
it in all caps.
I've been watching the Saw movies.
I gave up after the third or fourth one.
I'm on to 3. So I want to get into a Halloween kick here. Renee from Century, she loves the Saw movies or something. So I'm adding those throughout this month, and with Bob's Burgers, I have this whole schedule for what I'm going to do. I'm not going to lie.
That's what you're doing up there, huh?
Yeah. 1 and 2 have some of the best twists I've ever seen in my life from a movie. The endings,
1 is kind of stands alone, I think,
and 2 was pretty solid too. I started watching 3 yesterday, and I'm already like, okay, this is annoying me. This isn't great. But 1 and 2, I even 1, I will say, as I was watching 1, I was like, it's an okay movie, whatever. Gore doesn't bother me or whatever. I was like, whatever. But then the ending happened. I was like, oh my God, this was a fantastic movie.
Okay.
That ending, and I can't believe I never got spoiled. I never had that one spoiled.
You've never seen Saw?
No.
Couple things.
It was great.
I know I saw Dark Match at the Film Fest last Thursday with Zip.
There you go.
Dark Match?
Dark Match.
Yes, it was a wrestling crew that gets a wrestling association that gets called to this small town, probably in northern Alberta, to do a dark match night, and then it's actually some sort of demonic sacrifice is tied into it. So it's kind of funny and
this is a locally produced film?
It's a Canadian movie. Yeah, I think there's Edmonton, Alberta angles to it. Chris Jericho was in it.
Oh.
Okay, so I think that's probably what she's asking about. It was good. It was a good B movie type thing. Didn't take itself too seriously. I think when Saw, and what was Saw 03, 04? I remember I was in Lloyd when it came out.
I think about 04, 05.
I think the twist ending was very good.
04.
I think it, from what I remember, I think it took kind of gore and vicious twisted kills to a level maybe that hadn't been seen in a mainstream movie, in an actual Hollywood release that got big backing and a big release. I mean, this wasn't some low budget film that only a few people were going to see that did some really sick stuff. They really, I think for that era, and maybe now it's become more commonplace, I think for that era, from what I remember, they took sort of these we're going to torture people a bit before they die, or it's going to be some really... Well, the mental torture, because isn't part of that, it's you can get out of this thing, but you'll tear your face off in the process or whatever. I think that probably was unique for a movie of that stature at that time.
It was twisted.
Yeah.
Because we had I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scream, Friday the 13th, Halloween, right? We had all those.
I just have never seen them. And so I was like, I want to get into the Halloween spirit. I'm like, that's a good one. And one was fine. But then that ending was like that. Like, I love a good twist ending. I want to watch a movie and not guess the ending.
Yeah.
And that's what Saw 1 was. And I wasn't even trying to guess an ending. And then Saw 2 happened. I was like, okay, there's going to be a weird ending to this. And 2 happened. I was like, wow, that was not, to me, at all expected.
See, I don't remember the twist in Saw 2. I think I saw the first 3. Maybe I saw the fourth one.
I guess.
It's only been out for 20 years.
It's been out that long,
The son was in the safe. The police, the game was sit and talk with Jigsaw. And his son will be in a secure location or whatever it was, a safe location. And then he went to the house or whatever, and he got locked because that Amanda girl ended up taking over for Jigsaw's his like protege.
Oh, right.
And then the kid was in the safe in the room the whole time.
Oh, right. Okay. I vaguely remember that. And then a few years ago, they did that one Spiral with Chris Rock. That was continued the lore or something.
I didn't see that.
But there was one, and again, sorry everybody, we're spoiling this, but I'm assuming if you're a big Saw fan, you've already seen them, and if you're not, you're probably not going to go back.
These movies have been out for decades. I don't think we're spoiling anything.
There's a
That's why I'm surprised though I never got Saw 1 spoiled.
I think after about 10 years, you can probably talk about the Sixth Sense or whatever. But there was. It was either Saw 3 or 4. The twist was it was happening.
Whoa! I haven't watched those. Save those. I'm in the process. I'm watching 3 right now, and then 4 is after that. I will throw this out there. I am actually in the process of watching. All right. Do you want me to leave the room and then you can continue?
No, it's fine. It's fine. You're watching Saw 3 right now. You couldn't watch it in one sitting?
I'm breaking up over the course of the month.
He's got a schedule.
Yeah, it actually works out perfectly because there's a schedule of Bob's Burgers Halloween specials. So I'm watching one Saw movie over 2 days, and then a Bob's Burger episode, and then Saw over 2 days, and a Bob's Burger episode, and then Saw over 2 days, and it takes me right to the 31st.
Okay. So how far into Saw 3 are you?
An hour into the 2-hour movie.
Okay.
It's that long.
I think, when you're done, tell me, because
I'll be done 3 today. I'll be done 4. I'll try to finish 4 on a Thursday, even though I'm supposed to finish on Friday. So then on Friday, I'll let you know I'm done both of those.
Okay.
Because you said it was 3 or 4.
Yeah, and then I don't think I watched after that.
3 is, I'll tell you where I'm at so far. Like, there's the one guy whose kid got killed, I'm assuming in a car accident or something. And he's going through stages.
Is it like a maze almost?
Yeah, like he first had like the girl who didn't testify as a witness. And she was in like a cooler or something. While also Jigsaw is like got a doctor like having to take care of her, but she's got the shotgun bullets pointed to her neck.
Oh, okay. I vaguely remember that. I saw 3 for sure, but I don't know if I saw 4.
Penner's Pancakes says stop at 3, Maddie. It goes too hokey after that. I'm watching all of them. Well, no, I'm going to go through 4 or 5.
How many were there?
There's 10.
Yeah.
There's that many now?
11's coming out next
Fast
year.
and Furious.
Wow.
10 came out last year. 11's coming out next year.
And does that include Spiral? Because Spiral was, remember there was one with Chris Rock?
No, I don't pay attention to those movies.
Yes, that includes Spiral.
Well, but
because 1, 2, 3 in the film series. So there's Saw 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Saw 3D, Jigsaw, Spiral, 10, 11.
Oh, right. Jigsaw was one of the movies.
So,
question comes in via Paris Jewelers inbox. Have you guys been to Dark at Fort Edmonton Park? I hate scary movies, but I love haunted houses and stuff like that. It's pretty good. We go every year. I've heard it's good.
Yeah, I've heard it's good too. I have not been. I don't know if I would go.
I've never been to Fort Edmonton Park.
I'd get too scared. Well, I've been to Fort Edmonton Park.
Yeah, is it? I heard it's nice.
they just renovated it.
Yeah, they're renovating.
I've been recently. Yeah, but I've heard this Dark thing actually does pretty well.
Yeah.
I went through. They had a haunted house when I was working at City TV. They had a haunted house, maybe in the old Paramount.
Right.
They went through and shot some stuff for a story.
Yeah.
And it was okay, but I remember this one. You kind of go around this corner and it's pitch black, and you kind of see the next door where you're supposed to go to, and then all of a sudden, from beside me, this woman like popped up, and she was all made up and had this little baby doll that was all like bleeding out of the eyes and stuff, and you totally couldn't see her because she was all covered in black.
Yeah.
So she just had her head down and was crouched forward, and then she could probably see somebody's feet come in or hear something, and then she would pop up. That was actually
I remember when the Paramount was like a bar, but it was like a goth bar, and we went there one night. Yeah, we were there for a drink. Not our crowd. It was me and hockey buddies.
I don't remember it having a bar.
Yeah, it was interesting and I remember the sloped seating because it was a theater, and I was like, oh, this is like a goth bar.
Yeah,
kinky.
That was a great theater. It's too bad it closed down.
They need to do something with it.
Yeah, it's still sitting there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just sitting
That's
there.
one of Jasper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it used to be that every Halloween there was that haunted house they threw in there, but they stopped doing that. I don't know when they stopped doing that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Do something with it.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I would go to dark. I don't know if that's. Well, I guess maybe I can't say till I try it, but I don't feel like. I'd have to probably go with at least 2 other people though.
Why at least 2 other people?
Yeah.
Just to get more of that group atmosphere. Because I think just with one other person, then if you're both kind of freaked out or not into it, but then if you go with 3 or 4, then you're all kind of like, oh, hey, we're all doing it together. And maybe, I don't know.
Is it a good date night? Dark? I guess if you're into morbid stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was
on first date, I would say no.
Okay.
I was going to say like
you're not
EST
making out at the end.
staff bonding night.
Staff bonding night at dark. Right. Yeah, okay, but we're all together. Like if Reid gets scared, you hold his hand.
We all have fun staff nights.
If somebody, I guess what I'm thinking is if somebody is legitimately scared, legitimately uncomfortable, I feel like the larger group they are in,
it can help them
better they'll feel
safer.
Yeah, and it's easy, and then if in a larger group there's going to be somebody who's not scared and is going to laugh at and mock at everything, and then the scared person can kind of latch onto that person. Yeah, and be like, oh yeah, it's actually just silly.
I'll be the one mocking it.
You are like that.
Wiping the makeup off the people.
I try to hey, look, there's somebody over there. Hi, it's not. Nothing bad's gonna happen.
You're very close to a robot.
They're not gonna hurt you.
Theoretically.
I paid money for Fort Edmonton if I went to this dark, let's say. They're not going to all of a sudden hurt me. I'm not going to have my arm chopped off. So why there's nothing to be scared about? Because
no, but some people
that's where I know some people get that, but that's where my mind it goes immediately it's to no emotions and stuff, and it thinks too robotic. I gave you $20. You will not hurt me.
Yeah, you're thinking, oh, there's Frankenstein's monster, and you're thinking, oh, I wonder what he did for the makeup and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Did you guys ever do the, we're really meandering topic. We'll get back to books at some point because it is important. Reading is important.
I am reading a good book right now.
Did you guys ever do the, we'll get back to the books. Did you ever do the, sorry guys.
This is the host, the non-host of the show.
Well, I'm used to just hosting a show, so I just do it.
Continue,
you put a mic in front of me. I can't remember what it's called. It might be Shadow of the Empire or something like that. The virtual reality Star Wars thing at West Ed.
I wanted to do that.
I don't know if it's still open. I did it twice. When I was at Ched, they invited me to do a media preview because somebody had listened and knew I liked Star Wars, and I went through it with Margot Maron.
Yeah, she married my buddy Tay.
Right, whose last name is
Marin.
Almost the same.
Hers was Morin.
Right, Morin.
Shout out to
I can't remember. So we did it together. So when you go through it, you put on some sort of a vest and obviously the VR goggles, and you get a blaster, and then you and whoever you're with, you look like stormtroopers, because I think you're rebels who are disguised as stormtroopers. It was very cool. And you feel there's a scene where you're on a platform and it feels like you're moving, though obviously you never really leave a couple rooms.
Yeah.
And it feels like you're moving over a big lava pit. And they pump heat in, so it feels like there's heat. And the finale is you're trying to steal some sort of a mystical sword for the rebels, not a lightsaber exactly. And, so there's parts where you got to shoot, and there's one where you got to figure out a code and punch it in to some little console. And then the finale is Vader.
Oh,
so
nice.
he appears, and his lightsaber comes out glowing red, and you're shooting at it, and he's blocking them. And then he starts walking towards you. And I have to admit, of course, it's VR, but there were these moments where it's like, holy crap, that's Vader. Wow, he's like 15 feet away from me. Wow, he's still walking towards me. What is going on? Is this scene going to end?
So what happens? I mean, if it's not there anymore.
Then he gets quite close to you, and then it's and then I think the ship to rescue you like shoots in through, because you're in some sort of a hangar or something, and it crashes in and debris falls in front of him, and then it's as if you're rescued and pulled out.
Cool.
So then I took my cousin and her boyfriend later, like within a couple of years, and went through, and they tweaked a couple little things. My complaint would be, so the first time I was fortunate enough to go for free, and then I think it was $30 or $35 a person. Like, it's not cheap. So it was like her birthday or something. So I paid for my cousin and her boyfriend, but I don't even know if it's 15 minutes. Like, I wish it was a little, that you're actually
pay for that
you're actually in the sim.
Right.
You know, like there's a little training video, and they make sure you're safely suited up, and
I see.
tell you like don't walk into walls or anything, or swing your blaster at people. But it was a very cool experience. Like, you feel as if you're right in it.
That's sweet.
I don't know if it's still going or not, because I think they had that in a Ghostbusters one, but this was years ago. Somebody let us know
miss the Ghostbusters one?
I'm sorry, I don't know what it's called. It's in phase 1, I think, on the second level.
What's phase 1?
It might be.
I don't know.
No,
I
it
don't know
wasn't.
the
It
phases.
wasn't in phase 1. It was in the.
What was it by?
Yeah, what was it by?
Like the Bay?
No.
Is it by Science?
There's that arcade in phase 1. I think the VR might have been in phase 3.
Yeah, don't know
Or
the
phase
phases.
4 even.
We don't know the phases.
The stuff, the
Like, I go back,
past
like,
the boat,
so by Simon's.
yes,
Yeah.
I think
And
so.
where like
Europa Boulevard.
HMV used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's generally over there
By the theater.
But I felt like it was off to one of the side things.
I was at the mall this weekend or last
Maybe it
weekend.
was, I don't know.
And there was like one of those sit down like chairs that you go into that moves a bit, that you put VR goggles on and you do something with that.
Oh, neat.
So I don't think that's the one you're talking about, though. Clausen does text, the haunted house in Paramount was Deadmonton.
Right.
It's moved to the old Edmonton Sun printing building in the East End. It's fantastic if you like that kind of thing. So is Dark.
Okay.
That's from Clausen, who's...
Nobody knows if the VR is still open in the mall.
well, he texted that one personally to me.
What up, Josh?
So now I have to go into the nasty chat, and it's across from the mini golf, someone says.
Still there?
I don't
Do they
know.
still have Ghostbusters? I'll do it.
Yeah, we'll go tonight.
I'm trying to see.
Yes.
The only thing I just say is it's across from the mini golf. But there's like a new store. No, the brick was there.
Is the brick not there anymore?
No, the brick's gone.
Well, the brick's been gone for a while.
And it's now another like store that sells a little bit of furniture. That was there
Struck too?
as of this. No, they're by Winners.
Oh, right.
But I don't know where the VR would then be.
Yeah,
from
I'm
that.
sorry, guys.
Oh, somebody has now. It was across from the mini golf, closed not long ago.
Nah.
So it did close. Okay.
Fiddleston.
Yes.
It was neat, but like I said, I wish for that. I mean, I realize it's not going to be quote unquote cheap, but I wish for that, because I think it was around $30 a person.
Okay.
Well, you want more time with it.
Yeah, I wish
get
it
that.
was like you're in for 20 minutes to half an hour.
Right.
And I understand they want to get people through, and it's probably a lot to make that type of a simulation, but it would have been nice to have another scene in it. Like there's one where you're, like I said, there's the lava one, you're fighting stormtroopers, you have to figure out some sort of a sequence on a console, so it was more like of an escape roopy type thing. Though apparently, I'll say this now, I think it's because it's closed. Because I heard this after the fact. So you're kind of locked in a room, and stormtroopers are trying to get in through one door, and you're trying to open the other door. So it's one of those where there's, I think, flashing lights on a console, and then you have to either remember the pattern or figure out what comes next. Mm-hmm. Apparently, if you shoot it like Han Solo does in the detention block in the first Star Wars, it'll just open the door.
That's brilliant.
But yeah, who would think to do that? Well, I guess somebody would think to do that.
I'd shoot it.
Star Wars fan.
Yeah, true.
This is the EST Hangout. Matt Iwanyk, Reid Wilkins, Tom Gazzola with you. A reminder, keyword for the EST Flyway to LA presented by the 780. Coming up in a little bit. So stay tuned for that. Probably 20, 15 minutes or so. We'll get to that. Tom, what book are you reading?
So Help Me Golf by Rick Riley.
Haven't you read that
nice.
I've had it the problem is, Matthew, as soon as I pick it up, I read like a huge chunk of it. It's like quick little excerpts and stories of everywhere from like experiences of golfers, some of the life struggles that some guys have had, just traditions and things like that. Rick Riley's probably him and Jeff Pearlman, two of my favorite authors. And I find that anytime I buy a Rick Riley book, I can just consume it like that.
Yeah.
And so I've been like saving it, and I'm almost done it now. But like the Masters, you don't get to keep your green jacket; it stays at Augusta.
Mm-hmm. The only person that gets to take it off the grounds is the winner of the year.
Yeah,
they get to wear it for a year, but when they come back, it stays at the locker. Yeah. I don't know if a 2-time winner gets to do that.
I don't know. Gary Player kept his apparently. But he had to agree he never wore it outside of his house.
Right. Yeah. See, and then Jack Nicklaus didn't actually get his own till like 10 years after his first win. He would always wear another winner's.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was like just those little things like that, and like some of the caddies who were on the tour. One caddy went to jail. I can't remember if he was. I can't remember whose caddy he was, but he went to jail for like 10 years. And then the guy brought him back as soon as he got out of jail, and then he passed him off to another player. I think he's still on the tour.
This is in the Riley book?
This is in the Riley book.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Did you read Who's Your Caddy? That's an older one.
That's one I need to pick out because I'm very curious.
If I still have it, I'll bring it.
I would love to read it. Commander in Cheat, brilliant book by Rick Riley.
I haven't read that one yet.
That is so good. I've read it so fast. It's about how Trump cheats at golf and explains how he cheats at many other things. And Rick Riley, great story. Like this, Mike Tirico played golf with Trump. Here's a quick story, and I love this one. So Trump, when he golfs, always has even before he was president, would have a scout like from the course go ahead of him, basically a second caddy. And so they both hit their drives. Tirico. This is a par 5. Both of them are sitting pretty good on their second shot. Tirico pumps a 3-wood 10 feet from the pin.
Like shot of his life.
Like great shot, yeah. And they're like, "Whoa, nice shot, Mike." Trump is off in the bushes, and then Trump hits out of the bushes, and they say he takes the foot wedge out a lot.
Right.
Oh, found it. And the scout found it, and then so he hits his third shot to the green. They get up to the green, and the scout had gone ahead. Tirico's pulling his putter out of the bag, and he's about to go line up his eagle putt. And he's like, "Where the hell's my ball?" And he goes to the scout, and he goes, where'd it go? It was 10 feet from the pin. He goes, I think it's in the bunker. Trump told him to go kick his ball into the sand. And I think Tirico ended up parring it, making a sand save. But just stuff like that, is phenomenal stories. And I think the way Rick Riley writes, and actually if you see his interviews, he's just fantastic. So anyway, I highly recommend his books.
When he had the back page in Sports Illustrated, I would turn immediately to the back page.
Yeah.
And I got the issue in the mail every week, if people remember magazines on the mail. I think it was just The Life of Riley, because it used to be Point After, and then he was writing it quite a bit, and then they just gave him the back page, Life of Riley, and it was always very entertaining. He was I haven't read his stuff in a while. Does he still write? He doesn't do anything, because didn't he kind of get in trouble for plagiarizing himself, using
that I don't
plagiarize yourself?
Collins? Well, I think he kind of got criticized for sort of recycling columns a little bit from a few years before, or some of his jokes, which
I didn't know about. I read his books.
He was a contributing essayist for ESPN SportsCenter, ABC Sports. So that's what he's currently doing.
Yeah. He's phenomenal. I find him highly entertaining.
One of the best lines ever, because he would write NFL too. He wrote about an Eagles game when they had Randall Cunningham at quarterback, and still one of my favorite lines ever. He said, "Randall Cunningham can dance between raindrops." That's a great line.
Yeah, I think he's fantastic. So he was. Oh, one of them he wrote. I think it was Who's Your Caddy. He was in So Help Me Golf. He was talking about doing a book appearance, and he was at this bookstore, and he said that the staff had gotten all this stuff ready and copies to be signed, and they had a table or tables, and he was going to read at, and then they had all these chairs put out. They had 100 chairs put out, and they finally bring him out, and there's one guy sitting there, and he listened to him, and there was all this food in the spread, and the guy he listened to Rick Riley talk to him basically one-on-one, And Rick read some of the book. He's like, I may as well. I'm being paid to do this, so I may as well do it. It was just the one dude at the bookstore. And then the guy, Rick Riley goes, anybody, you got any questions, man? He's like, thanks for coming on. Any questions? He goes, yeah, can I have some of those sandwiches?
That's amazing. Only one person.
One person.
And he just wanted the food.
Yeah. And he listened to Rick Riley the whole, like, he said he did it for like 20 minutes, half an hour, read some of the book, and just went with
Still
the program.
did what he was paid to do.
Yeah. And the guy had one question. Can I have some of the sandwiches? I thought that was
play waiting to the end.
Riley should have said no.
No, those are for me.
No, those are all for
I'm taking them
Those
home.
are all those for the next guy that comes in.
Yeah.
It's personal readings. Just
Yes.
he's gonna do one-on-ones the whole day.
I'm surprised that nobody would show up for a Rick Riley
I
reading.
know.
Is there a blizzard or something?
I know. No, he just
That's
said,
called
not
poor
published?
promotion.
yeah, he thought
That's
it would
my
be a
guess.
big one, and one guy showed up.
I love going to a good bookstore, like Audrey's Books or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, just the old school bookstore.
Audrey's is great.
Those are great and stuff.
I've been reading off my tablet, off my iPad, through the library app, Libby.
Do you like it?
I love it. I didn't think I would love it, and then I decided earlier this year to try it. Obviously, well, we have a mutual friend who works at the library who said, yeah, it's really easy. Just download it and set it up. I'm like, okay. And it's just, put in your library card number.
Wow.
I found my password. And then when you take out a book, though, well, the book you want may not be available. There's still a limited number
yes.
of digital copies.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's
so
smart.
there might be 30, but it'll tell you, okay, you've placed a hold on this book. You should get it in about 5 weeks. You're 140th in line, and there's, 10 copies, and this many people are waiting. So I wasn't sure how I would like it, not physically holding a book, because, I feel like I'm a little old school, but I absolutely love it. I've probably read 10 books this year off the app, and you just swipe to turn the page. You can change your font size, you can change your font style, and then you can also pick it up on another device. So if I were reading a book, I just finished one the other night, but I could just go on my phone and read for a few minutes. It just takes you, it just says, oh, you're actually on this page. Do you want to jump to that page? Yep. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I bought a tablet to start reading a little more ebooks and stuff because I had a bunch of books on Google Books, and it's fine. To me, it's fine. I
Having the book.
I like having the books.
Have the book.
I like. Having
I know,
the
I
books
get it,
still, and
but
it's-
I don't know.
through the
And
price.
for certain books, I'll still always just go buy the book.
Yeah.
And want to have the book just because.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, depending on, but I've been able to read more because of this.
The public library is like, I don't think people realize what they get out of it, even just digitally.
Yeah.
There's courses. You could take free courses if you want to learn some stuff. Newspapers and magazines. There's a lot that are
You
just
said you
free
did
through that.
newspapers.
It's Press Reader. And if you sign up, you could get the Journal and the Sun every single day if you're into that.
Yeah.
Just by being an Edmonton Public Library card holder, which is free.
Member.
Yeah, which is free. Yeah, it used to be $12. But
Yeah, you could get like newspapers from across Canada. I think the Free Press is in there, and there's a couple of others, but virtually every other newspaper's there in the States. Most are on there. New York Times isn't. I don't think LA Times is. I don't think Washington Post is. But then through the Edmonton Public Library, you could actually get the New York Times covered.
Oh.
They have its own way of getting that one. I get Golf Digest. I get there's all sorts of different ones you can get just for free all through the Edmonton Public Library.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous of what you can get for free by just going to epl.ca.
Well, Cam Moon takes physical books out of the library all the time to read on road trips and on the plane. He reads a lot. And I guess the way I'm doing it, I don't physically go to the library, but I've been in there. And they have I'm talking about the Milner one downtown. Like it's
beautiful.
There's sewing machines. There are recording studios. Yeah, and there's a 3D printer.
There's a 3D printer,
which I should figure out how to use. I mean, they'll help you use it. So you want to 3D print, I don't know, longer pairs of shorts or something.
Why would you
there's
ever
a recording studio too.
recommend that?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
The people go in there and do podcasts.
Oh,
there's I think you recording music or whatever you want.
Yes,
it's all. I think for kids, it's a great little play area. It's unbelievable.
It took a while for them to redo that. The outside looks like a silver tank.
The outside is not great.
No, they did not.
But the inside is
value engineered
fantastic.
That.
When they have this big giant screen that's probably a couple stories high when you walk in, and it's fish swimming around.
Cool.
But then you can walk up to it and touch a fish, and it tells you about the fish and where it lives and all this kind of stuff. Oh. It's actually pretty cool.
Sweet.
I always say I'm going to read more, and I never do. I just for some reason just can't sit down and crush 10 books.
Well, it's taken me all. I'm probably at. That's this year, and I've
that's a lot.
Yeah, I've probably. Well, I was saying to Tom before we come. I've now read 5 books in the Reacher series, which I'm really enjoying. Shay Ganem over at Ched is a big Reacher fan, so he was like, "Yeah, you should." He goes, "You should check him out." So now I guess, but there's probably people listening who are Reacher fans. According to Shay, and I'd like other feedback on this. So Lee Child is the author, and the first Reacher book was 96, 97, something like that.
Okay.
And I think about 4 or 5 years ago, so there's a book a year, his brother started co-writing with him. And Lee Child is going to pass eventually the series on to his brother solo, or maybe already has. And Shay says the books with the brother are not as good.
Uh-oh.
So I'm curious if other people
just like as Jigsaw
share
passes
that
it on to Amanda. It's
yes.
Already not
boy.
going.
But I've read those. I read the first Harry Potter book just because I'd never read a Harry Potter book. So I thought, I'll take it to the library, see what it's like. I felt like I was not the target audience for that book.
It's fantastic. I've rented a few cookbooks from the library.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah, this or I've gone to the Stanley and I'll just go walk the cookbook aisle and look at a bunch until I find one I really like, and it's great.
Yeah,
no, the library's fantastic. Redbeard says renting PS5 games is great from the library. Also adding Go Royals.
You can still rent video games, eh?
Yeah, you can rent video games, DVDs, music. Like it's ridiculous what you can actually get from the EPL.
Yeah, and I guess
and people don't use it.
Yeah, I would say, and I think a lot of people do, but there's
I don't think it's enough.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a stake. I know I get at the downtown library sometimes,
but they're all over the place. Libraries.
But they're all over the place.
And you could order books to your library.
I don't think entirely. No.
Well, there's security there. Yeah. There's always security there.
But my friend tells me about incidents or
you can order
stuff, but
you could order your book to the library to go online and put a hold on a book to your location. They will get it to your location.
Oh yeah, the one closest to your.
Yeah.
Some of the other ones are quite large.
Yes.
Like probably. Now I can't think of one. Well, just because the one about 95th Street and 116th, that's quite a small one. Mm-hmm. But they had. Yeah, they remember they did have. I haven't been in there for a while, but yeah, I remember they had video games. Now that you mentioned it, and CDs and things like that.
Yeah, Chris saying, wow, didn't know you could rent PS5 games. Yeah, just go take a look at the EPL. And again, memberships are free nowadays.
Yes. And again, you can just look online too if you want.
It's all there.
Put something on hold and then just go in and pick it up if you don't feel like browsing the actual library.
And if it is, again, a book, you could just get the ebook and you don't even have to leave your house once it's available.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. The official drink of the EST Hangout. It is the Finnish long drink, legend of 1952, a drink unlike any other sparkling refreshment, real liquor, longdrink.com/Canada is where you can enter in your postal code and you can find where it is in location.
He's doing it.
Haven't had one of these in a little bit.
Let's go.
Also, Chris adding, Wind Beyond in Windermere has the peach long drink. So now you got to go hunt it. I'm just a sucker for anything peach, especially alcoholic. And
peach is good.
I now need to try the long drink peach version.
That was a bit obnoxious, but I respect it.
Very
well,
slurpy.
for those that are listening,
Very
they need to know that I had a nice sip of the long drink. It's the official drink of the EST Hangout. Duck Dad, I want the EPL to do community tool shed rentals so bad. There is a spot you can rent tools, isn't there? Like a community rental or something?
Yeah, at like Home Depot?
Maybe, no, but like free, I guess.
Oh.
I think you could rent or maybe I'm thinking I've seen this before. Maybe it's not Edmonton Public Libraries. Maybe it's other libraries. You could rent like baking sheets and stuff.
Really?
Oh, really?
If you don't have muffin pan sheets or something, you could go rent a muffin pan sheet or something.
Buy one for like $5.
Yeah, but you might not want to keep it and store it. It's like you just go to the thing, use it, bring it back, and you don't have to keep it in your spot.
All right.
But that would be neat.
I watched Face Off episode 5 yesterday, by the way.
Oh, you just watched it?
Yeah.
I still have to watch episode 6.
Before we get into that then.
Just wait, Tom.
Well, no, just because I think we'll have a nice little discussion on that. I haven't watched any of it. Let's just get the keyword done then.
Oh, let's do that.
Let's do the EST Flyaway to LA keyword, which is presented by the 780 homegrown local shop right here in Edmonton. 780 is both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to Edmonton. They work with close to 100 local vendors to help promote and get their brands off the ground. You can check them out online, 780.com. That's the word 780.com. Or their 5 locations across the Edmonton area, which are the Southgate Mall, Londonderry Mall, Kingsway Mall, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall by the airport. We want to send you to LA December 26th through to the 30th. Clippers, Warriors, Rams, Cardinals, Edmonton, LA, or Anaheim. Flights, hotel, car, all provided for you. All you have to do is listen weekdays, Monday through Friday, to Nielsen Show, The Hangout, EST Afternoons, The Reid Wilkins Show, as well as on Saturdays on Hello Hockey for that keyword. Text it in. And right now is that opportunity.
That's my show.
The keyword for today on The Hangout, Henrique. Henrique. Text Henrique to 780-218-9999. Adam Henrique.
Oh, I thought this was like a...
this wasn't Kaminga from yesterday.
No,
Adam
Kaminga.
Henrique. You got to go watch Henrique take on either LA or Anaheim if you win this trip.
Former Duck.
Henrique. Henrique. Text it to 780-218-9999. You'll go into a draw in a few minutes. Trev will give you a call. We'll talk to you on the air, and you will be in the grand prize draw, which will take place November 29th on the morning show, as we will send someone to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Fun little trip, I think.
It's going to be great. That's an excellent trip.
And thanks to our presenting partner, the 780, which is a fun... Actually, I was there 2 weekends ago at the one at the Outlet Mall.
Nice.
And it was... it's cool in there. It's
Neat spot?
Nice. Yeah.
I'll check it out.
It's a lot of fun.
Text comes in for you. Says, hey, Iwanyk. For you.
Oh.
I didn't get to message yesterday. My kids loved the chili at the tailgate. I definitely thought it was a top contender. It was cool meeting Zach and Trev. Thanks for setting up there. It was their first CFL game, and even though they lost, the whole experience was great.
Lovely. I'm surprised to hear that it was a top contender. Like, in that person's eyes, it would have been even a contender. Zach did text me at one point saying, like, we're not allowed in that. I was like, no, we're not an entry. Like, we can't. So thank you to all those people that maybe thought mine was okay. Tube Socks liked it.
It was the maple syrup and the liquid smoke.
Needed more liquid smoke. I think needed a little bit more liquid smoke. Scott was actually in the office yesterday grabbing the prizes for it. The Elks call tomorrow or Wednesday, tomorrow on the Elks call, which you can catch on their YouTube channel. They'll announce the winner, and then after they announce it, we'll mention it, of course, on air of who the winner is. I've heard a lot of buzz of Jason and Andrew. That their chili was fantastic, and it's right up there. Jason
he puts a lot of time, effort, and thought into his cooking, as Andrea has told me. And he experiments with things. I remember one night doing a pre and post game at Hudson's, Bourbon Street. We're going to be back. First one's October 17th on White, by the way. Andrea's like, yeah, we tried this. I think it was a turkey thing, and it didn't really work out. And Jason came over. I'm like, hey, Andrea said that you didn't feel like it worked out. He goes, nah, I got too experimental with this and that. So he tests things out, and I feel like, and they always make great stuff at the tailgate, Jay and Andrea, among many. And so good to hear that he's in the mix, and people are talking up his chili from the other day.
Cool.
Yeah.
Scout says this is better than last year's. They've improved, and we'll look forward to then the third one next year.
Fantastic.
When that one comes. Did you get any chili?
No, I did not.
You didn't get that.
I don't go early.
You said you might go early though, so
yeah, but I wound up not going. Yeah.
I saw you there, and Bob and Louise, and my parents were there. I was talking to Trev and Zach, and then I didn't even have any chili either. I was running into people and just chatting and stuff like that, which is great. Always come by and say hi, and I'll try to stop by on the 25th as well. But what a vibe. The tailgate has become a fantastic vibe, and I love it, and I'm very happy to hear that the Elks have pumped up a lot of money into the Spirit. And let's keep that bad boy going, because it is a great addition and has become this kind of natural side event to the game.
Right.
I think is a nice way to describe it.
Yeah.
Great vibe there. I love the tailgate. Well done, Elks. Well done, Spirit of Edmonton. Well done, fans. Fantastic.
Trev will call someone right away. So do we get into the face-off conversation and then I interrupt it talking to a qualifier, or do you guys just want to?
Well, we can do a phone call in here.
Yeah, we do phone calls.
Well, you can't. I'll talk. I'll be the only one because I have the headphones.
Oh, Matthew will do it.
Yeah.
You could ask questions, but you won't hear them.
Then no, you do it.
You do it.
So I'll just do it. And
Yeah.
But so we could start talking about face-off, and I interrupt the conversation.
Yeah,
and have
sure.
a call.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, then let's quickly get to Hangout headlines, which is brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club, offering premier conditions, top-notch service, unmatched value. Visit them at the Ranch, book your tee time by visiting theranchgolf.com. Where he was on yesterday, October 20th, still the target date to shut down for the season. Weather just still being beautiful, so get on out there. You saw episode 5 of Face Off.
Yeah, Dusty said just watch 5 and 6, so I will heed that warning because none of the other storylines interest me whatsoever. I'll be perfectly honest with you.
Take that, Nylander.
Yeah, take that. Nothing new really that I learned from it. It's just, good to see those guys in their homes and kind of sharing what it's like behind the scenes. The Connor breaking down and crying. I knew he had done that. I've been told prior to the show coming out that he had a hard time with the loss among the rest of the crew, but our DVD had the best line, and DVD's great. He's an awesome guest here, obviously, but he's like, man, I remember as soon as they lost Game 7, I was talking to him when he got back, and he goes, you could tell how devastated McDavid was, and he came out and he spoke and he handled it pretty well, and it was so bad. And DVD's a journalist and always has been. He works for the league now, but he goes, you just wanted to give him a hug. That's how devastated he was. And I was like, wow. And Connor can be a robot, and he addresses that too. And he says that kind of stresses him out, but he's gotten much better, especially in the last couple of years. But it is good to see that side and to have that access. And then a few people were like, who is that guy in the locker room closing the curtains? It was Brad Harrison, and Harry's one of the best. And that's a emotional moment where I think Harry did the right thing, not allowing access into the room when Connor was blowing up. Well played, Harry. I'll give him props. Him and Langer, those guys protect the players. They have the trust of the players, so... a few people were like, what a dick move. I'm like, no, you don't get it. That they're part of the team, and some stuff doesn't need to be seen.
Yeah, but the camera was still there.
The camera, it got
still
the
got
audio.
most of the audio.
Yeah.
So that was after Game 2, and they got him crying after Game 7.
Yeah.
And they got... I've been negligent because I said I would watch episode 6 on the weekend, and I didn't. I watched episode 5 Friday morning before we went to... where we were at in Fort Saskatchewan.
Yeah, South Fort Shep.
But I haven't watched episode 6 yet. But so I don't know if is the Hyman speech in episode 6? Because Oilers Plus put that out a couple months ago, right?
I don't think it was.
But
in
you
the
hear
one
somebody say, it sounded like Hyman, get the effing cameras out of here.
They teased that, I think.
At the end of... Because episode 5 starts with the end of Game 7.
Yes.
And then it goes back and talks about McDavid,
Tracks
Draisaitl, and Tkachuk. But...
Tkachuk, what a rat. I don't think they have pools in Edmonton. I was like, oh, you.
Yeah, that's one thing I said on Friday, that Oilers fans will not be any more fond of Matthew Tkachuk. This will not humanize him in a way that Oilers fans will like.
He's everything.
Like he does an interview floating in a pool.
Yeah.
Hockey needs villains.
He's a great one.
Sports needs villains, but hockey needs a little bit more. Play into that.
Yeah, well,
he does. A little rivalry.
He does. But it was... I'll watch episode 6. I found... And of course, we all know what happened.
What happened?
In the series, in the Stanley Cup final.
Go on.
I don't know. I haven't been around.
Well, I'll show you the Wikipedia page later.
Is there a subreddit about this that we can pass along your way? Yeah.
And as I've always said, and I was talking about this with Jay on Friday, I'm not a fan because I think that's disrespectful to the people who are hardcore fans. But I want the Edmonton teams to win, including the Oilers.
Yeah.
It's better for the city.
Always.
I still want Edmonton to succeed, regardless of the team. And I did find that tough to watch, that first minute of episode 5, when you actually see them coming off the ice. They're all just devastated. And then to see McDavid just ball like
Break
that,
down.
I was like, oh man, like you realize how much they care. They're not like, oh well, I make $12.5 million, so I'm good. Like,
That's okay.
No,
lost.
they want to achieve stuff.
Yeah.
They want to win, and you saw Nuge and Draisaitl on either side of him devastated themselves, and I almost felt as if they were even themselves unsure what to do.
Yeah.
With their own emotions, and then Connor displaying that much, because you see Draisaitl give him a little path, and I think Nuge might have just sort of
inner thigh touch.
Yes, an inner thigh touch, and I think Nuge either touched his back or started to touch his back.
Yeah.
But they were almost like lost as to how to deal with their own emotions and then console each other. Who's been in that? I guess a couple guys have lost the cup final in there before, but still, it's all a little different. But I think it's a good series to do. Again, am I super interested in the other parts? No. Maybe I'll watch them at some point. I do want to watch. I do want to watch episode 6. Yeah, I want to know as much about Nylander as I possibly can.
Yeah, please tell me more.
Who else is featured? Is it
Jack
maybe the
Eichel?
Swayman one. Swayman might talk about his contract and
but
stuff.
that contract's done now. So yeah, he talks about the arbitration process, which frustrated him.
But it was neat for me seeing the shots of Edmonton and how they presented.
Yeah, I think
Edmonton.
they did a good job.
And I always hate some of the little shots. Like, what's the podcast guy?
Pete Blackburn.
It's in the middle of nowhere. So
we honestly are.
I know, but it's
the closest city is Calgary.
Calgary's in the middle of nowhere too.
Well, you're at least closer to America.
You could argue Canada's in.
Well, yeah, but Pete Blackburn's from the U.S. and there's more.
I know, but it's just kind of like, can you think of something to say other than the cliche about it? I don't know.
He's not wrong.
Like I don't think. Okay, so Yankees fans are super passionate about New York. It's not because New York is in the middle of nowhere. It's because people love the Yankees.
Yeah.
People love the Oilers. It's not because Edmonton is geographically located where it is. That's what I'm saying.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, you could then make that argument about Tuscaloosa with the Roll Tide.
Hey, now.
Isn't the capacity of the stadium larger than the city? We're pretty close, I think. I'll look it up while you're talking.
You do
to
that.
The winner.
Let's qualify someone for the EST flyweight to Los Angeles. I believe we have Clint on the line. Clint, congratulations. You're in the mix to go to Los Angeles. Have you ever gone to SoCal before?
I have not.
Perfect.
It'll be my first time if I win.
Oh, that'd be great. Who would you take with you, and what would you be most excited about doing if you won this trip to Los Angeles?
I'm not sure who I would take, either my friend or my wife. I'm not sure my wife would want to go. I always like to go see an NFL game. I've never seen an NBA game, so I'd be interested in that too.
Okay, and I'm going to put you on the spot here. Predictions for the Oilers season. How far do they go?
I think they win it.
Perfect.
Nice.
Everyone will love that one. Well, Clint, congratulations. Keep your phone on November 29th on the morning show. If your name is chosen, you got to answer the call, but the boys will give you a call, let you know, let you off to Los Angeles.
Great. Thank you very much.
Congrats. Best of luck. And there's Clint. He's qualified. If you would like to qualify into the draw, 2 more qualifying opportunities today on Edmonton Sports Talk. One during EST afternoons with Hernan and Gager, and once with the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. All presented by the 780. Clint will take his wife or his friend. He doesn't know if his wife would want to go.
Oh, okay.
So that keeps that option open.
Couple options, though.
I will say one of my favorite qualifiers ever, though, I remember with JMO once, we asked him who he would take, and he says, I don't know, I'm going to put it on Tinder.
That's great.
And we're like, that is awesome. Like, perfect.
What a way
it's one
to
of the
go.
best ways. Just start, add that to your bio.
That's
see how many
great.
matches you get.
Good luck.
So
did you find it?
Bryant-Denny Stadium is just over 100,000 capacity.
And what's Tuscaloosa?
The estimated population of Tuscaloosa is 110,000, but the metro area, so I guess the suburbs or whatever, is 277,000. So
half the metro area will sit in that.
Yeah, but obviously
stadium.
People come from all over, but that's how big it is. How big is Green Bay?
Green Bay's not that big. I think it's like 150,000.
It's that small, right?
Yeah. Because it's
smaller
a little,
than Saskatoon even?
Yeah. It's close to Milwaukee, as Alice Cooper said in Wayne's World 2, I believe.
Green Bay, Wisconsin has a population of 107,000. Urban area 224.
There you go.
What's metro? Or is that urban?
It says urban.
Okay.
Well, Metro, it says 320. So I don't know how they break it down.
Saskatoon's like what, 250?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's probably a little over 200 now. Maybe larger than
Fun
that.
city.
Saskatoon's a nice place.
Yeah, it is.
Way better than Regina.
I prefer it over Regina.
It's not even
but I would
close.
never. I'm just kidding. It's more fun.
Saskatoon. Metro is 317.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Good. It's growing.
They should get their own CFL team.
That would be tugging on the heartstrings now, wouldn't it?
That's an interesting what if.
Yeah.
Could Saskatoon support a CFL team? And would they support a new team? Or would they just be, we like the Riders. Sorry, we don't want a new team.
Part of me thinks that it would be that second part that you just said.
Probably, yeah. Do you think it's Quebec City if we ever go to 10?
I think so. We need to get to 10.
The maritime thing has died out.
Switch to Quebec City.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kelowna, no? The Okanagan?
No, I don't know. No, I think Quebec City's, that makes the most sense.
Baltimore?
Somebody, I think the 3 Down Nation boys were talking about St. Louis.
And it doesn't
I've thrown that one
Portland
out there.
still get pop up if they went back to the
Portland does,
States?
Yeah.
If the UFL dies, St. Louis has proven that they will support football no matter what.
That is
that
true.
they don't have the NFL. Does it make sense to head down to there?
Yeah.
Now, the one thing you have to remember is that because of U.S. labor laws, you cannot put a Canadian import rule for that team. That team would have to just naturally want to do it themselves.
Yeah.
But it can't be an actual rule. They would be able to play all Americans.
Yes.
They won't have to play a single Canadian, and right off the bat, that gives them a little bit of an advantage.
Yes.
Plus travel, I don't know, if you're all the way down to St. Louis,
Yeah.
would you need anything
Yeah,
else?
I'm kind of being cheeky throwing that out there. But
Yeah.
I don't think the CFL will ever be back in the States.
No.
I can't even imagine, where or why they would go.
You would only go because you hit, like you have found, you could create a U.S. division, I guess, where you hit 4 great American cities that aren't with the NFL that are going to just support you. I don't know.
I don't think those cities probably exist.
I agree.
And I think they need to worry about franchises in Canada.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. But like I could see that one person want to be like, well, what about St. Louis and San Diego and San Antonio? And can you find Orlando and build a U.S.? They don't have NFL teams, but they'll come watch the NFL or CFL maybe. And then you've built a little brand and you're growing in the U.S. market. I disagree with that, but I could see people will start saying that if the UFL ever goes away.
Yeah.
Someone texted in, Pittsburgh only has 300,000 population. Yeah, that's Pittsburgh proper. The metro is 2.5 million.
Yeah, and I find a lot of American cities are different because what's Edmonton's metro? You add on
1.5 almost.
and does that? I even saw one tally a few years ago where they even included Wabamun or something.
Oh, that's
and
a little bit far.
But if you include, so with Edmonton, what do they
proper
include?
is over 1 million.
Okay,
now.
and then
Yeah.
for metro, what do they include? Beaumont, Leduc,
Sherwood Park,
St. Albert, Spruce, and Stony.
Fort Sask, I think, is in there too. Devon.
But Fort Sask was like a half-hour drive. When we
Fort
went there the
Sask
other
is
day.
like 5 minutes now on Highway 15.
Once you're out of I guess from where we live.
Yeah.
So they include Fort Sask in Metro Edmonton.
Man, my parents' place, it's in St. Albert, is like a 40-minute drive, and I live downtown.
Okay.
And they live the furthest north in St. Albert.
So I was for Fort Sask I was counting from where we live.
Yeah.
Because Tom and I don't live that far apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess from when you actually
just chopped
leave
liver.
Edmonton
Cool.
to get to
You're in
the
the
edge of
palatial
Fort
Sky Palace.
Saskatchewan.
I live where Tommy lives, but I'm nothing. So that's cool. Thanks.
Well, I'm sorry, I've never been to your place. I've been in
you
Tom's
can sit there
place.
and be like, we all live in the same area.
Did
but
you
no,
even go to Fort Saskatchewan?
He was there.
No.
Oh yeah, he was.
Well, that's cool. Whatever. That's
Don't
cool.
disregard
That's
Matthew.
awesome. Whatever.
Well, no.
No, that's cool, Reid.
But so Fort
Thanks
Sask
for coming
is,
into the Hangout today. I appreciate it.
So Fort Sask is part of Metro Edmonton.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. But there's
That is correct.
like St. Albert doesn't really have a gap. But
Well, you could say-
there's still a noticeable gap driving from Edmonton to Fort
Nisku, Leduc,
Saskatchewan.
same thing now. Like they're all Beaumont. They're all like right there now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read for reading week today at a school I didn't even know existed, and then I looked at it. I'm like, it's right by the airport.
Oh wow. You can fly
I have to
back.
learn how to read in
Get
the
a
next
chopper.
20 minutes. Get to the chopper.
Speaking of Fort Sask, quickly, Dusty and I are in that fantasy football league.
Yep.
We're the one that Nefarious 9, the commish is from Fort Sask. We draft in Fort Sask. That's how I've tied it in tied back together. Dusty and I meet this week.
Oh,
he's 3-2. I'm 4-1. I am the highest scoring team in my league. I think I've gone up against the second most amount of points, but I've gotten banged up over the last couple of weeks.
Uh-oh.
I think I'm gonna have a very rough week against Dusty.
Now, are you one of the nefarious 9?
No, I wasn't there.
Oh,
I was not one of them. Dusty has
you were
confirmed
on
that. I know I drafted from here on my laptop.
Oh, the rest of them were together.
It's always, the draft is usually together in Fort Sask. We always go to the commissioner's house.
Oh,
We're there
okay.
together. I couldn't because I was getting ready for the next day, or in 2 days, we were launching these 2 new shows on their station, EST Afternoons and the Reid Wilkins Show. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yes.
So I was getting set for that. So I couldn't go. So I was here working, but I had it on my computer and I was drafting.
Is it a 12-team league or 14?
16.
Oh, 16.
5 keepers. It's ridiculous.
So how many people were in person? Everybody.
I think most were there. Dusty wasn't there. I wasn't there. And I think only maybe 1 or 2 more people weren't there.
So how does he know there were 9 people exactly?
He was told that the vote was 9-2.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But in the meantime, he's been told by, I think, 6 different people that said they voted for Dusty.
So there's somebody's lying.
There's people lying, we've been told that they didn't even know there was a vote going on or what they were voting on. So there's a lot of confusion with that.
Oh, yeah, boy. Sounds like it. Sounds very confusing.
I've got injuries or bye weeks coming this week. That is hopefully players could get back healthy so I could take on Dusty and have a little better team. But last week I pulled one out. But yeah, my 4-1 team taking on Dusty's 3-2 team.
Well, that's huge. We'll put some money on it.
Let's go. Sprinkle.
I'm okay losing this one. I can afford a loss. Dusty needs this win.
I just want you to have bragging rights and to shove it in his face every chance you get.
I don't think I would on this one.
I know, I'm just teasing.
No, but I would like the poker tournament, the first one I was claiming as EST champ. Now I think that's Jay is the EST champ.
Jay's done very good.
I think he lasted in the longest and lasting, so he's the new EST champ.
Yeah.
Dusty didn't like that. But then I beat Dusty in that last one. That's all I cared about.
Dusty live streamed the whole thing. He was up till like 12:30.
It was. Oh, did he stream the rest of the night? Yeah, once I was out, I shut it off and went to bed.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
I went back as I was going to sleep. I was going to watch some stuff on YouTube, and I'm like, you guys are still on?
Portions of this hour of the EST Hangout brought to you by the Hive Product Marketing, official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Stock, promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out, thehiveproductmarketing.com. Chelsea's doing some great work when it comes to our Nasty Club, as that will get going next week. The annual memberships, both the regular and the premium, will get for sale next week. Auto renewals will also start happening next week. So if you're a current member, once your year is up, it will auto renew. If your credit card information is changed, you'll then just have to, once your year is up, resubscribe. To anyone that wants to get in and wasn't in last year, that will open up next week. The regular annual membership for $79.99 will include a EST t-shirt and EST socks. And the premium membership will include those 2 items, but also will have a lapel pin, EST lapel pin, and EST scarf.
T-shirt looks great, by the way.
Yeah, it's nice little. It has a little secondary logo of EST.
Well done, Tube Socks.
Launched with then the store that we're doing with the Hive coming up later this month.
I like it.
We'll feature the EST secondary logo a little more prominent across our the merch that we're going to have in that store. It's going to be a fun little merch store that we got. But if you're looking for any promotional products, or if you're just looking for products for yourself, hiveproductmarketing.com.
I just wrap up on the face-offs thing.
Oh, sure. I was going to get into. Go to the Oilers and stuff, so we can go from there.
That ties in
nicely. I was going to go into
okay.
Lavoie and stuff.
Yep, perfect. Okay, just the other thing too that's not surprised me, but the face-off thing. Like I think the series, Dusty was saying, we were talking about it a bit yesterday. He's like, watch for like how the pacing and the narrative and like who they have. Like Jackie's great. I think Pete Blackburn's actually really good. I like him. I think he's a really good broadcaster. Bissonnette, I was pleasantly surprised with. He expanded his vernacular for the series, and I'm very impressed. I feel like they jammed Ryan Whitney in there, and then PK Subban was good. PK Subban knows how to talk it up really well. So I actually liked the broadcasters they used, and then the natural sound from the games using Jack, a little bit of Kevin Quinn in there. Great blast from the past, and then some CC. So 3 tremendous play-by-play men with deep Edmonton ties, obviously, which I appreciate. I'm looking forward to watching episode 6, and I want to say this. I've never actually watched the Panthers receive the cup because we went right on the air and we were having technical stuff. We're doing it on our amenities floor, and our mobile internet connection was a little bit unstable. So I never watched the Panthers receive the cup. And so that was new to me, seeing that. And then yesterday they got their championship rings.
Yeah.
Really nice. You know, I don't know if that's supposed to be sacrilegious to say, but the rings are ridiculous now and beautiful, obviously.
They're going to get to a point where they're just going to be way too big.
You can't even wear them.
They'll be on like 3 fingers. You got to combine them because they're just so massive.
I like Tampa had the ones where, and I think maybe Colorado did, you spin off the cap and it had like an arena on the inside with detail. Yeah. I really like the thought that goes into them. But yeah, like seeing the Jostins did it in the inside and it says like New York and then Edmonton, I'm like, that's harsh for Oilers fans.
That's interesting. I didn't really see the cup presentation either.
Yeah.
And
where were you doing your post game? From the rink? Or were you?
So what happened was, if the Oilers would have won the cup, Rob and I were going to go to a location on that balcony overlooking the plaza. So we could be, I think it's in Stantec Tower.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we could have the sound of the partying and say what we're seeing.
Yeah, we had Maddie ready to go walk around testing things out.
And then,
would have been awesome.
And then they lost, so we just stayed in Fort Hall, and there were some technical issues that night too, which I won't get into. But yeah, that was so I did the face-off show from Fort Hall. Usually for the road games, Rob had just been doing them from home in St. Albert. And then, but he came in for that one again in case they won. We could both be on scene, so we did the intermissions from Rogers Place from the booth.
Yep.
And then if the Oilers would have won, we were going to boot it over at the end of the game to go to the plaza, which shouldn't have taken too long.
No.
We could have gone inside, I think, all the way or almost all the way.
It gets you fully there.
Yeah.
The whole path
so then we would have been overlooking the plaza for the overtime open line. And I guess it was kind of chilly that night.
It was not a warm night.
Yeah.
No, it was chilly.
Windy.
Yep.
Very windy.
Yeah.
Very windy. Remember I had to tape up our EST banner to the glass? Ugh. Yeah, that was.
So yeah, we did overtime open line just from up top in the empty Rogers Place, which is where I did all the road games. I think except for a couple in the Vancouver series because there were concerts and stuff.
Oh, right.
But yeah, it was that whole. I'll always remember that day as a very odd day. I actually felt sort of nervous.
Really?
People say, "Are you nervous to go on air?" Well, no, I'm not nervous to go on air. But I wasn't that I was nervous to go on air. It just felt like intense, and you knew it was the end. At that time, I knew it was probably going to be my last game at Ched. And then, as I said, there was some confusion about how we were set up, and I won't get into that.
People
story,
get over antsy and excited on days like that.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's natural.
And then, as I've said this to you guys, and I've probably said it on air, the game itself just seemed to go by so fast.
Yeah.
And in terms of a pure hockey game, it was maybe the least sort of entertaining game of the series.
Absolutely.
And I remember thinking, and again, because of some of the issues we were having, I was very distracted during the first period because there was still some confusion about this other setup we were still trying to get going in the plaza if the Oilers won the cup. And then I remember it being halfway through the second period and thinking, I think it's overtime already. I think the next goal is going to win. And then a few minutes later, Reinhart scored.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, is that it? Is there another goal in this game? And then even the third period, it seemed to just go by so fast.
Yeah.
And then the Oilers couldn't get Skinner pulled as early as they wanted. And then it ended again with just Forsling sitting on the puck for the last 15 seconds without them even getting a shot. And then it was like, oh, that's it. Like the whole thing's over. You know, it was just a weird, I don't know how other people felt. And then I felt even on overtime open line, the callers were generally fairly positive. Like we had one Vancouver troll get through, unfortunately.
Oh, I know that particular one.
We cut off. But most people were just kind of like, yeah, amazing ride. I mean, there kind of wasn't a lot to break down from the game.
And there wasn't.
You know, we went and then it was like, okay, that's the season.
Yep.
It just felt very odd. I guess, I don't know. How did I expect it to feel? Different than how it did for some reason. But I don't know how I expected it to feel.
It was a different day for sure. We were ready. Maddie's very good at prep, so we had plans. And just the technology, obviously, you're at the whim of like Wi-Fi services and stuff like that sometimes. Anyway, we had backup plans, and I ran down to my studio in my place, and we got it all sorted out for post-game. But the day and the game itself, and this was the last thing I wanted, because I vividly remembered 06, Game 7. And how that went, and how it was a dud of a game. They lost a close one. It never felt like they were going to win it. As much as I didn't want that to be the case for the city and the team, it felt very much like 06 Game 7. And I was like, oh, man. And I didn't want to admit it.
Yeah.
And then, you do the show, and it's like, well, what the hell just happened? And I didn't bother to watch the highlights. I didn't bother to watch the cup celebration. I would see some stuff on Twitter, and that was it. And then I didn't see it till I watched episode 5 yesterday.
This is going to sound really bad. I did go back and watch the final few minutes.
Yeah.
And then when we had Doug Plagans on a few weeks ago, we played the end of the game.
Right, I remember
including the video,
that.
And he's in a little box in the corner. And I know it upset a lot of our audience, but I also thought, let's deal with it.
Yeah.
At least on this station. I don't know what other stations will do. But even, this is going to sound really bad, everybody. I'm sorry. I didn't see Paul Maurice's on-ice interview after the game. That was supposed to be really good, and I have not gone back and watched it.
Yeah, I haven't either.
And all that stuff we would never see live because we're preparing for our own shows. But you're on right after the game, and I'm on a few minutes after it ends. But yeah, I just... I don't know. And again, it's not that I'm all heartbroken. And again, I don't put my emotional attachment on the level of all the great fans in oil country, because it's not like that. But I've just felt like, I don't know, I don't need to relive too much of it. I mean, even Reinhardt's goal, and I know, Skinner gets crapped on for it.
I think Brett Kulak didn't have a good gap on that one.
I've never gone back and even watched that again. Like, it was so weird, right? Because Fogle almost scores.
Yep.
Then 15 seconds later, Reinhardt scores. And like I said, when that went in, I was like, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody, for talking about this.
No, but it's good. Get it out of the way. Flush it out, right? Flush it out. The new season starts tomorrow. And that's another thing, too, Maddie, that I think flows naturally into this. I was listening to the boys on the morning show, and like the doubt that has crept in, I'm noticing more doubt about this team. First, we were talking about, they're going to be back. They had to learn how to lose before they win. And then, they did the very uninspiring preseason, the Stanley Cup hangover, all of that, I think is a legitimate thing. But, now we have people being like, this team's just not good enough. It's like, well, no, they know what they got to do. I think we're going to see a repeat of last year's Cup final, and then maybe a different result. I think Florida.
That's pretty bold if Florida get back there, because that's
three in a row.
Yeah,
well, Lightning did it.
Lightning did it.
They also did it in a short season.
True. But yeah, I still, I know the Oilers on the defensive side of things aren't particularly great. They didn't do anything to bolster anybody's feeling for them during the preseason, myself included. But I still think teams like that know what it takes, and especially when they have that added motivation. And I think a good example of that, going back to episode 5 of Face Off, was when they were showing the guys having the media day prior to game 1. You could, now I know they're very selective in how they portray it, but I think Kachuk says, well, we're used to this. We went through it last year. Worst feeling in the world. But then they're handling the media day, having fun with it. And then they kind of showed Leon and Connor a little bit confused. Where do they have to go? You're in a new building. You don't know where everything's set up. But I think there is some truth to that. And now this Oilers group, a good chunk of it, has that experience. And I think that will inevitably probably put them over the top.
Yeah. We're going to do predictions on my show this afternoon. And as you know, I just find predictions somewhat absurd.
That's why Matthew doesn't make predictions.
But we're going to do them. I've already said yesterday I'm not going to pick the Oilers to win the Cup. Somewhat to be just a bit of a contrarian. Mm-hmm. I mean, who knows because you're predicting, you're also trying to I mean, one injury or one trade could change anything. So
Absolutely.
So with some of the contending teams, you're also predicting what GM is going to make a great move at the deadline and get somebody.
Right.
So, yeah, but I do think the Oilers will be good. I don't know. I kind of expect them maybe to. I was saying this with Jay yesterday. I only have them for 4 or 5 wins in October.
Yeah, I heard that.
I think it's going to be tough. Don't forget the Jets were 4th overall. I think Nashville's going to be quite good. I think they got a good coach and GM too. But I do think the Oilers will be in the playoffs and one of the top teams in the regular season. I'm very curious to see how the Canucks are, because I think the Canucks have the potential to be like the 17-18 Oilers. That they were in the previous year, and there's a lot of hype about them. And then can you do it again? And the way the Oilers are now is they can do it again in terms of making the playoffs and being good. Mm-hmm. You know, and I know Vancouver won a couple, a series in the bubble and all that kind of stuff. But I just kind of look at their roster and I think, are the Canucks as good as last year? I don't think they are. I know
they're taking a major step back this year.
I know they have Miller and Peterson and some, or Pedersen. You know, some people say
his name. Say it right. It's Elias, by the way.
And we'll see what happens with Demko. But I mean, who they get. I was going to say Bortozo, but it's Forbort, right?
Forbort, yeah.
And Desharnais.
Heinen.
That's okay. They're not going to have Joshua for a little while.
Yeah. He had testicular cancer.
Yeah, so I'm just. It was interesting. Like we had Matt Sakaris on last week when we were at Southfort, and he was kind of just like, "What a great camp! What a great team! We're all ready to go." Like Vinny could even move up to the second pair, and I'm thinking like, "Oh, wait a minute here! Like I love Vinny here, and he played his role, but I don't think he's a second pairing defenseman. I actually think." What's going to happen, everybody? Vegas is going to finish first in the division. Of course. They're just going to get up there.
They don't have the forward depth.
Well,
they have great defense, and the goaltending should be all right.
But I don't know. It's Vegas, right? They always
they find a way. They're cutthroat.
But I do think in the playoffs, the Oilers will be a very difficult out. But I don't know. Again, we're talking about stuff's going to happen on April
so much hockey.
15th.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't know, man. Like, you piss off guys like McDavid and Draisaitl, and you do have a very competent group around them, defensive side, for the time being. You find a way.
Yeah.
There's a reason why teams get back there. I think that they'll find a way
to win the cup.
I think they'll be back there.
Yeah.
What happens?
Obviously, I mean that's the thing. To me, most seasons you can identify probably 4 to 6 teams where you say that team is good enough to win. And then when you do predictions, you kind of just base it on gut feeling, or it's fine to be, I think, a bit of a homer if your team is in that group to pick them, which I've done in the past. But yeah, it's so hard to predict. It's so hard to predict. I mean, look at, like I said, the Jets. Who knocked the Jets out last year?
Colorado.
Who did they play?
Colorado.
Yes. Oh, yeah, right.
Because everyone thought it was going to be a really close series or whatever.
Right.
And then the Avs just dismantled them pretty quick.
Yeah.
Right, and then Dallas beat Colorado. Mm-hmm. Right, after Dallas beat Vegas in the other round. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the Jets were 4th overall. Like, the Jets were the best Canadian team by points, right?
Yep, by 6 points over Edmonton.
Yeah, it's who knows what's going to happen. It's fun to talk about, though.
It is fun.
And we're still going to make predictions on my show.
Hell yeah, you are.
Most people will make predictions.
You refuse to make any prediction at all about anything.
Game predictions, season-long predictions are kind of the two things. Like, the most prediction I'll make is the Oilers will be in the playoffs this year. Get me to April. I'll really discuss this team in April. They'll be in the playoffs, though.
Yeah, he does that.
That's fine.
The regular season doesn't matter, largely.
Well, yeah, you just got to get in.
Got to get in, and the Oilers team that's going to be in the playoffs is going to be very different from tomorrow and the team that's in the playoffs.
Yes.
There's going to be the changes that are going to come.
Yes.
And Kane, just one right there. And then the few others. Yeah. So what they do over the next few months,
Are they putting Kane on
I don't know.
LTI today or tomorrow?
Wasn't that the plan? Is that why they made all their moves yesterday to bring guys up?
Savoy gets them within like $100 of the cap or something like that.
So they get the most out of his LTIR by throwing him off, throwing him on there.
Yeah, accruing their cap space, which is smart.
that's good.
Bonnie Doon Ron, not happy, says, I think the omission of a few players from the playoff run will affect this group. I find it hard to see them make it to the final. Sorry, guys. Don't be sorry, Bonnie Doon Ron.
wait, we're not omissions of
This
what?
is the thing.
But what's he like the omissions of?
Let's look at it. McLeod's gone. Fogel's gone.
Wasn't a big deal.
Desharnais's gone. All those guys were healthy scratches in the playoffs.
At some point, yes.
At some point.
To me, the thing is the reason I would say at the start right now the reason I would say the Oilers are not as good as the end of last year is because 4 of the 7 defensemen who played in the Stanley Cup final are gone.
Correct.
And the replacements, I can't say for sure are better. Maybe they are going to be better, but based on their history, Emberson has hardly played.
Yep.
Stetcher, again, I think he will jump in there. Like he will battle. He's a little guy, but he plays hard. But he kind of is who he is. And then the 7th defenseman is
Travis Dermott.
Dermott or whoever.
Not Josh Brown.
Right. No. So that's why I would say that's a question mark. I mean, maybe you could argue Jeff Skinner's a question mark, but we'll see. But that's still a pretty good top 6. And maybe the best third line they've had
ever
since the late 80s.
Yeah.
Like, it's a pretty good third line. Yeah. But, I do think there are some question marks, but they're not going to be a lousy team. I mean, that's the fun part now. We're talking about, are they the top of the second tier in the NHL of teams, or are they actually in the first tier? I think that's the difference now.
We'll see. I mean, last year they were literally 32nd, tied for 32nd on November 9th.
Right. They lost to San Jose.
Yeah, that was an EST winning night.
Yeah, you did a good job that night.
Thanks.
But I think it'll be a fun season. I mean, what's McDavid going to do? Can Hyman get 50 again? How might Arvidsson play? How might Draisaitl look if he actually has a consistent line? Because he kind of never really has.
No,
right?
Yeah, that's very fair.
And could Connor? I think Connor Brown maybe can get to 20 goals. Henrique does almost all the time. How much of a beast is Janmark going to play like he's so fun to watch? So there's still a lot of good storylines. So if we predict or don't predict, and I said this to Jay yesterday, I said, be ready, because some people get really upset about the predictions.
Yes, they do.
I always say, we'll predict what we want. You can predict whatever you want. It's still kind of fun and trying to anticipate something that's almost impossible to anticipate.
Exactly. That's why I don't do it. I get ripped for enough. I don't need to add more to my plate of what I get ripped for. But I bring it on.
But
enough,
people still like them. I mean, there's that human element. Oh, what do you think's going to happen?
Sure.
And all that kind of stuff. But that's why when I do predictions, I often tell the audience, text in something silly as well.
Right.
Gary Bettman will sell sponsorship for the Stanley Cup, and it'll be the
Stanley Cup presented by Long.
The Avco Cup again. They'll bring back the Avco Cup or something like that.
Road Warriors presented by AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers. Custom manufacturing heavy haul trailers for mining, oil and gas, equipment, highway transportation. No patch jobs, better than you solutions. Trusted by leaders in the heavy transport industry. Get on the road with peace of mind for your large loads. AccuSteel.ca. The NHL North American season gets going this afternoon, 2:30.
I like how you
Kraken.
delineated that.
Well, the season's underway.
There were games already.
The season's underway, but now in North America it gets going. We got 3 games today. Kraken Blues 2:30. Panthers Bruins 5 o'clock. The Panthers getting to raise that banner. And then the Utah Hockey Club will host the Blackhawks at 8 o'clock. I'm assuming most of those games are on TV here. The Oilers in action. They start tomorrow as the Jets are the road team coming here to Edmonton. Who else is on the road today? You got baseball. I think it's just the NL going today. The Phillies on the road in New York taking on the Mets. That series tied up a game apiece. Dodgers on the road taking on the Padres. That game also tied a game apiece because every series in baseball is tied at a game apiece.
Let's go.
So, stupid Yankees blew it yesterday. I'm not happy with
Royals are Road Warriors. Old Redbeard, very happy guy right now.
Stupid Royals.
There you are, muttering under your breath.
I was working here and had it on, and I was getting mad, and Trev saw me watching the Yankees getting mad and calling
you kick
people
stuff?
No, I just swearing at players and coaching. And Aaron Boone's an awful manager. I don't know. It's not even his fault yesterday. I don't know. Aaron Boone should not still be the manager of this team. He should have been fired 2 seasons ago. He never gets them over the top. They should have got someone else. I'm not an Aaron Boone guy.
Who was the guy that hit the home run several years ago?
Aaron Boone did.
And Brett Boone was the commentator. They just showed him smiling.
Because Aaron Boone hit the big home run in, I think it was 03.
Yeah.
that eliminated, or like against the Red Sox, and the Red Sox the next year eliminated the Yankees after the Yankees were 3-0.
In the comeback, yes.
Yeah, which I will never watch the end of Fever Pitch.
But the 0-3 comeback, or the 0-3 series was the one where the benches emptied and Don Zimmer
with Pedro
fell down.
Well, he got
tried to ram somebody.
Aimed down, like almost like guided down by Pedro.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he like was going with his head, and Pedro just took him like kind of gently, like laid him to the ground.
I get it, because I feel like that was the last time I was really into baseball and found it compelling, was that 03-04 Red Sox. Well, I didn't
find 04 compelling at all.
Okay, so the Boone home run,
I think that was 03.
Was that in Game 7, or was that to take it to Game 7?
Why does Scott Brocious come to mind in terms of a big home run?
I think Brocious hit one of them off Byung-Hung Kim to prolong or win one of the games in 2001.
Okay.
Remember in Games 4 and 5 at Yankee Stadium, or they called him Bunny Kim, I guess. He was the big closer for the Diamondbacks, gave up a game-tying home run in the bottom of the 9th in both games. And then the Yankees won, I think, one in the 10th and one in the 11th. And then it went back to Arizona, and they won games 6 and 7.
03 ALCS Game 7 walk-off home run.
Right.
Left field.
Aaron Boone. Yeah, and Brett Boone was the commentator.
Wow, how much older is he? Or did he just get right into broadcasting? I'm not as sold on Aaron Boone, though, as a manager. Like, yeah,
How
sure.
many years
Hasn't he been
took
there a
over
while?
for Girardi, right?
He took over for Girardi. I was a big Girardi
7-8
fan.
years ago.
And he's fine in regular season, I guess. When they've done mostly well in the regular season with him, but they haven't been to a World Series. I'm sorry. I blame the manager a little bit. At some point, I want the manager gone.
It was Game 3 that year at Fenway when the
melee happened.
The melee. Yeah, that was at Fenway.
I don't know. For some reason, I was
Krim
thinking
Garcia was hit in the back by Martinez fastball. Then there was a hard slide. Then Ramirez took exception to a high Clemens pitch and charged the mound. 72-year-old Yankee bench coach Don Zimmer charged Martinez. Martinez sidestepped Zimmer, placed his hands on Zimmer's head, and propelled him to the ground. 13-minute delay. And then...
Remember Zimmer had the press conference and he apologized and Pedro was
crying.
Yeah, and Pedro was like, yeah.
When Pedro had that whole thing in the interviews after.
Yeah.
Who is Karim Garcia? Who are you? I don't even know who you are. You're nobody. Or whatever it was. Great expo.
Yep, great expo. Good broadcaster too. He's pretty funny.
But that was... Yeah, that 03 series was epic because there's just so much hatred between those two teams. And then, obviously the 04 comeback. And I am not, you know this, Tom. For whatever reason, I grossly despise all Boston sports teams.
Because they're good.
I don't know why. Yeah,
and they're obnoxious.
I just picked that. Yeah, it's, Bruins, obviously.
Yeah.
And then...
I despise the Celtics, but I'm a Laker fan. I don't have a hatred to the Patriots like others do.
Yeah, I don't mind them. Never minded them.
I don't hate the Bruins. Hey, the Bruins are the team that stopped the Canucks from winning that cup.
Did they ever?
I'll always have a soft spot for the Bruins for that moment. They've also crushed the Leaf spirit how many times?
You have to admit, that is kind of fun to watch.
I'll always have a full soft spot for the Boston Bruins because of what they've done to both the Canucks and the Leafs.
That's right. Yeah, see, I'm one of the rare people where I did not want Boston to win the cup in 11 or whatever that was. I didn't care who they were playing. I would have lived with a Canucks cup.
It was the fans. I did not want those fans to win. They were just too obnoxious and annoying on Twitter and stuff that it's like, no, I didn't care about the players. It was the fans. I was like, no. So I'll always love them for that. And then like that, when the Leafs were up, 3-0 in Game 7, and the Bruins came back overtime and crushed their spirits completely. Like, no, I will always love the Bruins for doing those things.
See, I go back when the Leafs play the Bruins. I go back and forth
I hate the Red Sox
on who I want to lose more. I think in that.
Oh, I don't.
When the Boston won that game, I think I wanted Boston to lose more. But now if Boston plays Toronto, I think I want Toronto to lose more. But then I want Boston to lose in the next round.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which usually happens.
Usually is what happens.
All right, you get your way.
But no, I will. It's always Boston over Toronto. Screw Toronto.
You don't like the Leafs, eh?
I don't like the Leafs. I don't like the Blue Jays. I don't like the I guess just those two teams. I don't hate the Raptors. I'm indifferent to the
See,
Raptors.
I wonder if Oilers.
I don't
fans,
like TFC. I'm not a fan of TFC.
In terms of Oilers fans, if Edmonton wasn't the Canadian team to break the cup drought, who would they be most accepting of?
Winnipeg. If you
Jets?
accept, it's Winnipeg or
Montreal.
Ottawa.
And now, well, maybe even now the Canadians would be back up there.
Yeah.
And they were hated here for a long time. But now I feel like because the Canadians haven't been that good.
Yeah.
I know they made the cup final.
Yeah. Here's what will happen.
Year.
This is how it goes. Once the Canadians are good again, Oilers fans would cheer against them because Quebec.
Interesting. But yes.
So Vancouver, Calgary, or Toronto, which would be most difficult for Oilers fans to see win the cup?
Calgary.
Assuming Edmonton doesn't win one first.
Calgary.
Because I feel like if the Oilers won the cup this year and then the Leafs won it next year, would Oilers fans be like, okay,
no,
we don't like it, but we got ours?
No.
You know what I mean?
No, because you want that drought to keep going.
You want the Oilers to start a new Canadian. Oh,
no, you want the Leafs drought. The fact that they have not won since they've expanded past 6 teams.
Which is wild.
You know, my buddy made a good point to me. I never thought of it this way. The Leafs have never won the third round of the playoffs.
Correct. They've only won 2 rounds.
Yeah. It's kind of weird.
No, it's like they're right. Like, there's not a lot of franchises that have won less playoff series since the 04-05 lockout.
So do you think Oilers fans could live with a Flames Cup over a Canucks or Leafs Cup?
No.
I think a Canucks Cup would drive individual fans when they encounter Canucks fans to like fist fight, because the Canucks fans have an incredible knack for getting into fist fights with not only Oiler fans but Flame fans, as I've learned. It's just, I don't know what it... Well,
provincial rivalry will always stand tall.
Yeah.
Canucks over the Flames in the end, if like like that Saw movie we're talking about here. Like, that's what we're doing.
How do you want to be tortured?
You're being tortured in one way. You're taking the Canucks over the Flames, and you're taking Canucks over the Leafs.
Okay. I don't know. I think it would vary from person to person. I don't know if there's a mass thinking in oil country.
Well,
that.
I think like if I'm guessing a percentage where like the majority of people would more so go ABC starts. It starts with ABC.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then it starts with screw Toronto.
But Ontario Moms with this text via the Paris Jewelers inbox says Canucks are most hated for their woof fan base. It's the one thing all other Canadian fan bases can agree on.
Although
a bit of a rally cry.
It's like I didn't care where McDavid went with the draft lottery. There was just one team I didn't want him to go to.
Calgary?
Toronto.
Oh, Toronto.
No, because we would have hated McDavid by now. We would absolutely, because of how much he would have been shoved down our throats to an extra level.
Course.
Right.
If the Leafs win the cup, like we know that Sportsnet and TSN are going to have a daily special on where the cup is.
Absolutely,
like
they
full
will.
Live, like we're live at Mitch Marner's cup thing, and James Duthie and the panel will be there.
Oh, they wouldn't
Mark
do individual
Masters.
players.
They'll do it.
After
no,
they
would do
it will be the longest summer of our lives, and then the next year it's all going to be about the Leafs. How do they defend the title? And it'll be the longest season of our lives. I do not want the Leafs to ever win a cup.
Sports Center live on location in Scottsdale for a full week.
I am taking a sabbatical for a year, and I am moving to a place that doesn't have TVs or internet to be away from the Leafs coverage.
Oh, wow. Okay, Matthew.
Or maybe I'll move to Alabama and go
great.
become a Crimson Tide person, and they don't care about hockey. Although they do play in like a ballroom.
They had the Birmingham Bulls in the WHA.
Well, the Crimson Tide have their hockey team, and they play in like a ballroom.
Yeah, it's club. That's
club
Alabama
level. Does have some sort of hockey, don't they?
We'll just watch that hockey.
Ken Talbot played University of Alabama.
Alabama, Huntsville,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
not the Crimson Tide.
Not the Crimson
Roll Tide.
That's
I'm not a Roll
I feel
Tide
bad
person.
I brought up this
I'm the U.
down topic
No, I've
about some
enjoyed
other
this
Canadian
thoroughly.
team winning the cup.
Actually, Fat Guy Tiny Car, who wants to go by Phil McCracken now, says, worst Stanley Cup final ever. Flames versus Leafs. The world must be ending, and who cares who wins because hockey has died.
Yeah, I wonder if Oilers fans wouldn't even watch that final.
Ugh. That's a tough one.
Yeah, that would be a tough one. But because I think if it was Leafs, somebody else, that would get huge viewership because the rest of Canada would want them. Well, maybe not. I mean,
the Leafs are big numbers.
Except for
It's just
Saskatchewan.
plain and simple. Leafs are big numbers.
Yeah.
People don't want to hear it, but the NHL would love the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Stanley Cup final.
Imagine
because
them
of the
in
TV
LA.
numbers. Rogers would love it too because I don't even know how many millions you're going to be watching those. It'd be massive.
But they had good ratings for this year with the Oilers, didn't they?
It'd be higher.
Yeah, I think
like right off the bat, it'd be higher. Like how many Leafs fans are across this country? Like,
a third of the country's down in Southern Ontario, there, right? So,
but there's a reason why TSN gets all the clicks and Sportsnet gets all the clicks for Toronto stuff. There's a reason when the Leafs go on their West Coast swing, Calgary, Vancouver, Edmonton, Winnipeg are loaded with Leafs fans, and same with the Habs too. But it's massive numbers. It's the same as like baseball wants either the Mets or the Yankees in the World Series. And if it's the Yankees, they would love the Dodgers to be in there. Because you got your two massive markets. Would be cool. And the numbers would be huge. And the rest of people will be like, no, that sucks. That's awful. I get it. But TV numbers would be massive.
So what would be the worst Stanley Cup final? Like Devils Kraken?
Utah would be one.
But there'd be some interest, though, if they actually made the final.
Islanders.
You got the New York market.
Islanders Wild? I don't know.
Yeah. That's a gross matchup.
Like just for bringing in people outside those markets.
Yeah.
I would like Utah Columbus.
Oh, yeah. That stinks.
That would be,
but I think would be one of the worst that you could get for hockey.
For a matchup. Yeah. But Columbus has no chance of being in the playoffs
right, but I just
year.
like if we're thinking of just where like the worst team like ever almost. Like over the next 5 years or whatever, like those would be right now, I don't think. Also, you could just also look at TV markets.
Yeah.
What would be the worst TV markets in the States? Who are the lowest? I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, what's the smallest American TV market in the NHL?
Avery actually brings up a good point. Utah, Ottawa.
Utah,
would be probably the worst.
Oh, yeah, because even Canadian fans.
Or actually, you could also throw the Winnipeg, Ottawa.
Yep.
Winnipeg, Ottawa on ESPN? How would that be?
Woof.
How would they market that?
Like Canada would have some numbers, but the American numbers would plummet.
Yeah.
At least like right now, Edmonton getting there, it would be McDavid, Draisaitl, I guess right now. Like, but those two, U.S. TV markets.
I really wanted Ottawa to win because we used to cover Redden quite a bit.
Lloyd,
and those were good teams because they had those years they were good and they got bounced by the Leafs and Buffalo knocked them out and then then when they weren't expected to be quite as good, they beat Buffalo and made the final.
Vegas is number 40 TV market in the U.S. It might be the smallest.
Well, see, because Vegas, when you think about middle of nowhere, actually, Vegas kind of is like when you fly to Vegas.
Salt Lake's 27. Salt Lake's higher up than Vegas, than Pittsburgh, than Nashville, than Columbus. Columbus is 33. So Vegas might be the lowest TV market in the States.
Vegas region includes Vegas, like Montana, Columbus. Idaho.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I'm just looking at
New Mexico.
I am looking at the designated market areas, Nielsen ratings, a list of markets. And Las Vegas is listed number 40. The next lowest is Columbus at 33. Then it goes Pittsburgh at 28, Salt Lake 27, Nashville 26. St. Louis 24. So Vegas would be the worst.
Interesting.
But Vegas, it's just everyone talks about Vegas.
Yeah. Well, they were good early, so they brought in a lot of fans that maybe weren't hockey fans.
Now they are.
Or not. They brought in. They got people interested about them.
That's Vegas's team.
Their logo, their team name, all that kind of stuff. Being in Vegas.
Yep.
What's coming up on the Reid Wilkins Show with J-Mill?
We will have Stu McDonald on the show. OEG, I forget his exact title. He's basically in charge of the business operations.
Yeah, Stu's in charge of the business side.
Adam Scorgi will be on about the 2-2 documentary.
Yep.
That is showing Friday.
Scorgi did Ice Guardians, Making Coco. He is fantastic. Yeah. He did a Danny Trejo doc.
The Dolph Lundgren one.
Stu is president and chief revenue officer.
Chief revenue officer. That's the title.
Yeah. Stu's the boss on the business side.
Yeah, and we'll do our guaranteed to be correct. I believe we're going to do our 16 playoff teams, the Oilers record, and
16 of each. Oh, no, I guess that's
Jay and I will both do our 16 playoff teams, our prediction for the Oilers record, and who beats who in the Cup final. Guaranteed to be correct.
We're going to mark them down.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to come at you if you're wrong. I'm coming at you.
Because a couple weeks ago, I did my top 3 overly specific Oilers predictions, and I've already forgotten 2 of them. But my last one was Connor Brown will have a 20-goal season, and the 20th goal will be in overtime in the last game of the year against the Sharks, because he'll get to play 3-on-3 because McDavid and Draisaitl will be sat out to be rested.
I love that. That is overly descriptive.
That's the Reid Wilkins Show, 3 to 6, right here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Your next chance to qualify for the EST Flyweight coming up in EST afternoons with Hernan and Gager, but then another chance on Reid Wilkins Show. We got 2 guys and a goalie at noon, but up next, it is the Lock Shop. Dusty and Huss looking back at the Monday Nighter, looking ahead to the start of the North American version of the NHL season with Kraken and Blues at 2:30. Reid, thanks for coming in a bit earlier today.
Yeah, I like you a lot.
On behalf of Reid, Tommy, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning in to the EST Hangout live on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, as well as on YouTube. And thanks to everyone listening on the podcast. Like I said, up next, it will be the Lock Shop. Don't go anywhere. That's starting in just a few minutes.
Let's go.
There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with here. Joining us today